Let me adjust the camera right there. My camera angle good? It is good. Okay. I don't like when it be cutting off half my head. It bothers me. That's why I always try to make you straight, to a sense. What's going on, everybody? You already know it's Boy Narcolepsy Boy 94. Kim Leak back here again. Another podcast on this Monday, the 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. How was everybody's? I know we talked about this on camera, but no, on camera. Everybody's Valentine's Day was solid. I'm assuming, especially for the one married man, other relationship man right there. So let me see. To start off, guys, I'll take some of you guys' questions in the beginning.
Sorry, ladies, I'm married.
Yeah. So Mounty's he's off the radar, guys. So you can't. He's
and men. Hey, I don't judge. I got some followers that like me. Let's put it that way.
Sean, even though Sean calls himself sexy big man in the game, he's off the market too. So he's not available. He's not available. Sorry, ladies.
Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. The only two people in the six pack that are available at the moment are me and Malik.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, Rambo's got somebody too.
Yeah. Rambo's got a girl. Yeah, Rambo's got a girl. Conrad's married, so yeah.
Conrad's married.
True. That's true. Yeah, Malik's too busy making TikTok fame, bro.
I mean, I'll get there eventually.
Once he gets a girlfriend, that shit's going downhill, brother.
My money's gonna be gone. My money's gonna be gone. You spend all my money. But I ain't got money like that, though. I'm not that rich, though, man. I mean, people think I got money. I just save up a lot, so that's why I'm able to buy shit that I want. But like, I'm not like balling, bro. Trust me, if I was balling, bro, I wouldn't be living where I am. Trust me, I live in the cold, bro. So we got a bad snowstorm we're at right now too. They said we got like 10 inches coming. So I'm like, bro, like this is crazy. We never get snow like where I'm from either. So
snow is headed this way like on Thursday.
Yeah, it snows bad where you're from too, like all the time, doesn't it? Around the coast,
yeah. And because I'm in the same area, pretty much, it snows. Whenever Sean gets bad snow, I get it too.
I know in Canada, bro. Ooh, I know it'll be snowing up there too. So
yeah, we talked about that last time. That it was a few years ago. We had like a crazy amount. 24 hours. We had 27 inches.
27 inches. Oh my God.
27 inches.
Last time it got 3 feet. Last time I got this bad. The last time I got this bad where I live at was my grandma. I talked to my grandma about it earlier, and my grandma said last time I got this bad was before I was born. It was 1976. She said they got a foot of snow, maybe even more. She said people couldn't even. They shut down roads and all types of stuff, man. So I was like, holy crap. So 76, bro, was the last time I got bad where I'm from. So it don't sound like that where I'm from. So it's pretty rare that it's actually happening now. So let me take some of the questions from you guys real quick before we go into our own stuff. I'll take some questions. One of the questions we'll address Undisputed Era breakup. I know you guys are asking. I see a lot of questions in there for that one.
I see a lot about that.
So we'll go around through it. I'll talk about it in the beginning. So kind of long overdue, I think, because I thought it was going to happen. It was going to happen the first time.
War Games.
I think me and Mounty pregame for War Games. We were thinking it was going to happen then. It didn't, and then the one after that one, I thought it was going to happen now on that takeover too. So this one was kind of surprising. The only it keeps for me. I'm not against it because it's NXT, so NXT always tells great stories. So it keeps me guessing. It makes me wonder: is Finn Balor now the new leader, and Adam Cole's out, or maybe Kyle O'Reilly out? And I don't know. It makes me wonder what happens next, because they kind of been teasing Finn Balor being in the group for a while, sometime now. Kind of been planting little teasers. So there's something there. I know a lot of people are upset because a lot of people love Undisputed Era, so a lot of people are upset about the breakup. But we don't know what the outcome could be, though. I mean, the outcome could be something great. Maybe all five of them do align with each other at some point. I know maybe this was just a little, Adam Cole was just a little frustrated or something. You know what I mean? Maybe something happens with it. Like I said, maybe Finn Balor's now the new leader. Maybe Adam Cole gets his own new group. But if Finn Balor becomes leader and Adam Cole now has a separate little group with three other guys.
Or O'Reilly takes over the pack and Cole goes solo.
Yeah, even that, because I mean, like, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if most of you guys in the chat have seen, but Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly had some really good matches in ROH, man. So they've had really good matches in the past. So if it's definitely going to lead between those two, I'm definitely on board with that. So just keeps me questioning, there's so many questions that that aren't answered right now that I know a lot of people want the answers to, but he's got to wait and see, man. That's why maybe this is long-term booking. So he's got to wait and see what happens for the next couple weeks for NXT, building up to the next takeover, which I assume will probably be around WrestleMania. So what about you, Sean? I seen your tweet last night, Sean. You didn't seem too happy last night. I seen you put out.
Right, man. I'm tight. I'm a little older. You know what I'm saying? I think we're all very seasoned when it comes to this wrestling thing, man. Like, we understand that there should be always a means to an end, or an ends to a mean, whatever you want to call it. But
right.
I mean, Undisputed Era to me is the best faction in the business right now, outside maybe Inner Circle, and I honestly give the nod to Undisputed Era. Maybe Bullet Club. Undisputed Era is just fire. It's just another example of WWE just taking people away. I really can't wrap my head around it. I did kind of, hypothesize why I think it happened. After I got over my initial tirade of emotion that you guys saw last night when I was very upset.
Yeah.
I think if WWE went this way, which is unlikely, but if they went this way, that it would make more sense. Other than like, oh, why are you being cool with Finn Balor? Finn Balor's not one of us. I can see it being where Adam Cole said, we were all there to support Finn Balor. We came out to support Finn Balor, and we're all throwing up the UE sign, you know what I'm saying? And Balor just spat in our faces and threw up the guns instead of throwing up the UE. We invited you into our group. We invited you into our family. And instead of throwing up, you know what I'm saying, the UE, you throw up the guns. That's a slap in the face. I don't appreciate it. We tried. I tried. And you spat in our face. That's the only thing that would make sense to me.
Right.
And that's a reach. But to answer your question, I'm not happy about it.
Maybe not a reach for NXT wise, because Triple H is pretty smart when it comes to booking stuff. So maybe he kind of, I'm sure he knows about the guns. I'm sure he knows all about that stuff too. So maybe
my brother, there's just too many X factors for me that are not going to be good out of this situation. Number one, when there's a face or heel change, usually that comes with music changes, that comes with merch changes, that comes with attitude changes, and it's like Undisputed Era was like fire in every. I mean, look at Roddy Strong, right? Roddy Strong was failing. He joins Undisputed Era, and all of a sudden, he's a tag champ. He's a North American champ. He's cool now, even with a receding hairline. He's cool now, and it's like, now what do we got going? Like, now Adam Cole is out, and Balor's the leader. Like, it's a state of confusion that we shouldn't have to be in. Undisputed Era should have stayed together, no questions asked.
What about you, Kyron?
I mean, you and Sean pretty much said everything I was going to say. I don't know. I mean, I was never 100% keen on Undisputed Era breaking up. It's one of those groups I always had a feeling I don't think will ever break up. There's also in lines of, well, August would make 4 years they've been in WWE, and it's always been NXT. Eventually, the act, I don't want to say might get stale, because it's kind of hard to determine with no crowd. And I think that's another moment that would have worked better if we had an actual crowd. I think I'm more shocked that Cole was the one that did it, because you never expect the leader to be the one to turn on, especially because Cole is the best talker in Undisputed Era as well. And I don't think Balor, especially as a heel, is bad on the mic. He's damn sure not as good as Cole is on the mic. So even if he takes over the leader, they lose that edge of their best mouthpiece and best talker if Balor takes over as leader. I think this is also a situation where it could be just a frustration with Cole and nothing big's going to happen, but you can't just do something like that, especially because they showed the end title card and then it happened. Like this, only NXT only saves that. Has only done it 2 other times. I'm sorry, it might have been 3 when Gargano won the title, when Champ first turned on Gargano, and had to take over Philadelphia when he attacked him. So you only save that for the big story moments.
I think they did it too when they attacked Drew McIntyre. Maybe no.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I don't remember if they did it.
I think that was another time they did it. I could be wrong, but yeah.
You're probably right. That was 4 years ago. I don't remember it that well.
Already.
But yeah, it's really been 4. It's damn near been 4 years already. Ain't that crazy? Time flies. But I mean, I never watched that match in Ring of Honor, but I know Cole and O'Reilly will probably have a great match together. And this also comes from who didn't even watch Takeover last night. But I mean, you can't be a wrestler fan on social media and not hear about what happened. Even if you didn't watch Takeover, you saw that. So I think this is a situation where we just need to see where it leads.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I agree with everything you guys said, because here's the reality. Like, you know, a lot of us kind of went with, you know, Undisputed Era. We were hoping for that big debut on the main roster as a cohesive unit, as a pack, and then we could kind of see what kind of impact they would have on the main roster. And we were kind of hoping for that, obviously. Would it have succeeded on the main roster? Maybe. Sometimes it seems in recent time a lot of factions don't really succeed, unfortunately, for one reason or another. And it's unfortunate because, you know, there's been a lot of really good fucking factions, and for some reason it just doesn't work. So it's tricky, you know, because there could be a fallout here if it's not done properly. And I was talking to Sean about this. You know, it's like Kyle O'Reilly is main event quality now for NXT at some point. You know, I mean, he was in a main event match. You know, he's main evented several times as a part of, you know, Undisputed Era and everything. So I'm just wondering, like, I hope that he doesn't go off on his own. If, you know, he's going to get his moment for sure, I would think, in NXT. But, you know, on the main roster, if he's by himself, is he going to get lost in the mix? It's going to be tricky. So I'd like to see where this is going to go. I'm not ruling it out. I think it was an interesting move that maybe needed something, because we were asking ourselves that question. How come they're not even on the card? So, but we didn't even give two thoughts to it. And then when they came out, and you guys might have saw my reaction on my YouTube channel, when they came out, I was like, okay, yeah, they come out because they're not on the card. And then when they're all there, I'm like, okay, something might happen here. And I just didn't know which way. I didn't know if they were all going to attack Balor. I'm like, you know, that's kind of, you know, that wouldn't be big enough. So I'm like, something's going to happen here. So they left it open-ended where they don't really know what's going to happen. Is Cole going to leave the group? And that's an interesting way, because you don't really see that too often where they're like, fuck it, I'm out. That's really interesting. Normally it would be like Cole and the other two standing behind him, and they would kick out O'Reilly for saying, hey, who the fuck are you? For, you know, even entertaining the idea of for Finn Balor to be there with us in our moment. Like, you don't get to make that call. Adam Cole is the man. Let's not forget that. So normally they would go that way, where they would kick out O'Reilly, or as Sean liked to put it, the Triple H evolution sort of to O'Reilly. So O'Reilly would be Randy Orton to kick him out. We don't know what's really going to happen. The payoff could be great, because I remember there was a time where I wasn't a big fan of Ciampa turning on Gargano, because truth be told, I was like, well, first and foremost, they're an amazing tag team together. And more importantly, I was like, well, what's their future going to be when they go up on the main roster? I'm like, they're going to be on fucking 205 Live, because they weren't like massive big dudes, you know? So I'm like, I was worried. I felt like they had a better future as a tag team unit. I was wrong to an extent, because in NXT, we saw one of the best heels in recent time with Ciampa. So I was like, fuck, I take that back. This was a great move. So I'm kind of open to see how they're going to work all of this out. Are we going to see a crazy heel turn in Kyle O'Reilly? I don't know. I mean, like, there's so many different ways they could go about it. One thing's for sure, the way they ended it last night definitely makes me want to tune in Wednesday to see what's going on, and I think that's the point.
All right, scrolling up some of these questions, man. You guys are coming with a lot of questions. See this one. Favorite Canadian wrestler? Who's your favorite Canadian wrestler? Mountie, since you're Canadian, I'll let you go first.
Bret the Hitman Hart, I'd say.
Bret Hart. I'm gonna say Edge for me. I'm gonna say Edge. Mainly because I saw Edge wrestle more than Bret Hart in his prime. I never saw Bret Hart in his best days. Owen Hart would be up there too, but Edge was. I would throw an Edge up there, man. Edge was, I would say, my favorite, but he also was my most hated as a child too. So as a kid, I hated Edge, but now I love Edge. One of the greats. What about you, Sean?
Oh, dude, it's night and day when he's back in. It's unbelievable, you know.
I have to go with Chris Jericho, 100%.
Chris Jericho, easily. Chris Jericho, easily for me.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Jericho. It's hard though, man, because I originally Bret Hart was gonna be my original answer, but I had to think about it. I was like, wait a minute now, Edge and there's Jericho.
I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot.
There's a lot of good ones. Somebody else in the chat said Daniel Bryan or AJ Styles. We'll get to that. Who do you think? Who do you think will take the title off Finn Balor? I'm gonna say it's gonna be Karrion Kross.
Karrion Kross.
So,
Same Karrion Kross.
I hope not.
it's gonna be Karrion.
Yeah, it will be.
Number one, he never lost the belt, and two, he was getting pushed tremendously.
I'm not a fan, gentlemen. I'm not a fan.
I did Karrion Kross. I liked him on the Indies too. So
Hold on, let me go back up. Combined, what's your top 5 AJ Styles matches in WWE? I'll go first on this one. All right. I gotta go with number one, the match was seen at the Royal Rumble. Number 2, the match was seen at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, the match with Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank. Number 4, the Boneyard match. And number 5, I don't want to say an obvious one, but I was trying. Oh, number 5, and once again, I'm just going up the top. Number 5, I was thinking about Shane McMahon, but I didn't want to go there. It's between Shane McMahon or Dean Ambrose TLC. Those are probably my 5 favorite AJ Styles matches in WWE.
Those are solid. Not bad picks.
Yeah, I'm going to go with those two because I can't think of any others.
I liked all those matches you named. The Shane one surprised everybody though. Nobody thought that match was going to be as good as it was because everybody.
Wait, he had one against Jericho too, didn't he? That was pretty good.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know if that was on your list. I'm sorry, Kyron, but
that was the
yeah, two pick. Oh, wait, hold up. I got.
You like lagging out.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. No, tape number 5. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you like cutting out there. Your connection's cutting out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you now?
Yes,
yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Just like your connection wasn't good for a minute. But you're all good though.
Oh, are we good now?
Yeah. I'm gonna read some more of these questions.
I was gonna say the match with Reigns at Extreme Rules will be up there.
Somebody, Bryan wants to know: will Miz cash in and win? What do you think, Monty?
You know what?
Yeah, I think so. That would be like really bad for his career at this point. Like you can get away with that with a Corbin, you can get away with that with somebody else, but like a Sandow back in the day. But like with Miz, like they're putting all this focus, he's hanging into it. I think if he didn't cash in by now, I think he's gonna win. We've seen that tried tested formula, that guys that hang on to their briefcase for a while, they seem to come out on top. And I still like my idea. To have Drew McIntyre have his moment. Maybe Drew loses at the Chamber this Sunday. Maybe Drew regains it at WrestleMania, and then you have Miz come and cash in, because don't forget, Drew never had his moment in front of real fans, human beings, not Thunderdome, all that shit. So I'm telling you, this is a great way to propel the Miz into one of the best heels, at least on Raw for sure. He would be the best heel out there. Think about it. Drew McIntyre never had his moment. He finally gets his moment where he wins the title. Yeah, it could be a little bit watered down because it's his third time winning it in the last year, but still, he has the moment in front of the fans, and that was a big spotlighted, never happened moment. Would that be?
Or you could just have him retain the title at WrestleMania. I mean, he still gets the moment by defending it. He walked in and defended it, and he still won. So I mean, it could be a big moment.
Either way, I see Drew somehow winning that match, and I see Miz taking that moment away from him in front of the fans. I think it's really good to do that. I
think he has. If he's going to cash in, I think WrestleMania would be the time to do it, just because they're going to have fans. Because they're probably not going to have fans for any other shows throughout. I don't know for sure, but as far as we know, WrestleMania's going to have fans. And as we know, as we know for now, what if we know for right now, WrestleMania is going to have fans for sure. We don't know what the future holds for fans. So to get that fan reaction, I think would be pretty cool.
Agreed.
And I think Miz deserves another championship run. He's gotten so much better. If you look at his first title run, a lot of people feel like he didn't deserve and he wasn't ready for his first title run. He's improved so much since then on the mic, in the ring, all around. Made the IC title feel important to the show again, not once but twice to two different brands too, to Raw and SmackDown. So I think Miz definitely deserves another championship run. I would totally be on board with Miz getting another title run. I think he deserved it, man. He deserved it. I think his promos. If you go back and listen to his promos back when he was IC champ, talking about not getting the respect he deserves. Number one, you could feel the passion and intensity in his promos because he believed it, and it was true.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody ever talked about Miz being, one of the greats, or ever talked about Miz being one of the best. If you ask people, like who's some of the best people right now in WWE, nobody ever said the Miz. Nobody ever talked about the Miz, and he was. He should have been. He should have been talked about. He should have been talked about more. He should have been up there in that conversation. So, I think Miz.
He should have won Money in the Bank. How they didn't give him that 2017 Money in the Bank, I'll never understand. That was definitely his time. Look, they're trying to recreate that now. I'm cool with it. We'll see if it's going to be as good. I mean,
what about you, Sean? You for Miz cashing and winning, or you see it happening, or?
I am a huge Miz fan. I feel like he's been misused. I like the fact that he got back on the technicality. Which opens the door for something big to happen. Another hot take for me: I don't think any Money in the Bank winner should lose the Money in the Bank cash. Like I understand, like Mountie was saying, you had Damian Sandow and Corbin. I think Cena too. But the point of cashing it's supposed to be an opportunistic opportunity in order to gain the title. So first of all, let me start by saying no one who wins Money in the Bank should ever unsuccessfully cash in. It's stupid because you lose the winner of the Elimination Chamber, the winner of a big cage match, the winner of a last man standing match, the winner of a whatever is primed and ready to be picked. Go get the belt. It's stupid to cash in and lose. That being said, yes, the Miz should cash in, and I would love to see him do it at WrestleMania.
I also don't like, unless it makes sense, I don't like when people announce their cash-ins either. They've done it a couple times. It makes sense. It made sense for the. I said, listen, it makes sense. It made sense for the RVD one because it was happening at one night stand, so you need ticket sales, so that made sense. But other than that, like even when they put it on Cena, I didn't like when they put it on Cena because obviously for Cena's character, he's not going to cash in cowardly. You know what I mean? He's not going to sneak up and cash in on somebody. So he announced his cash in. And then who else announced their cash in too? There was somebody else too, didn't there? There was somebody else I think they announced their cash in. Braun Strowman announced his too. Strowman announced his too. Like, why is Strowman announcing his cash in?
Because he doesn't need to.
Strowman, yeah, I think it fit with Strowman's character as well, not to cash in cowardly. I think,
but he should have cashed in. He should have cashed in SummerSlam. Honestly, that's when he should have.
This idea of a cowardly cash in. What the hell does that even mean? It's a Money
in the Bank though, so it's an opportunistic. It's an opportunistic thing. They may say it's cowardly because maybe they were. That's why Edge was the ultimate opportunist because he did it tremendously 2 times in a row. So
I feel like when heels do it, it's like ooh okay, like what like a good face wrestler, like a Strowman, like a CM Punk. I was like really like I don't know. I think when it's a face, I think they should announce it and show like I am the champ. I will be your champion. I'm not afraid of being fresh. Yes.
But it only should do it. They only should do it unless it makes sense. Like unless it. The only time I'm with Sean. The only time it made sense was for RVD, Money in the Bank, for ticket sales and for the atmosphere. But unless it's like, unless you have like Money in the Bank and like it's your last shot and say like it's a huge setup match for a WrestleMania match, something like that. That's different. But other than that, I didn't like when Cena announced he was going to cash in. I like the unexpected, not knowing when it's going to happen. So that's what makes Money in the Bank exciting.
But we know with Cena's character, he's never the type of person to.
I know. I'm saying in general, like you like the best Money in the Bank. The best Money in the Bank cash-ins happened when we didn't know they were going to happen. WrestleMania with Rollins.
That's true.
Edge cashing Money in the Bank.
Yeah, heels.
My thing with Strowman.
Malika's on my side, so I don't want to ruin it.
Even when CM Punk cashed in on Edge, that was a great cash-in on Monday Night Raw. Nobody saw that coming.
let me say something real quick. Malik is on my side, and I don't want to ruin it, and I'm going to risk ruining it right now. So forgive me in advance. John Cena's cash in is part of the reason why I don't like John Cena.
Oh, come on, Sean.
Listen to what I'm saying. This whole hustle, loyalty, and respect. I'm too good and too good of a human being to cash in the belt, cash in the briefcase like everybody else. I have to be superhero, S on my chest, John Cena.
Always does the right thing.
It's stupid. It goes against the entire premise of what Money in the Bank is all about.
The same
Okay,
with
hold on.
The same with Braun Strowman too. Braun Strowman, I'm too big.
Braun
I'm too strong
Strowman
to cash in. Like, come on, like,
Yeah,
bro.
Strowman should have won the title. But
He should have, but he shouldn't have announced it.
Worse.
He didn't need to announce his cat.
it
First of
was.
all, he was already a dominant heel before they turned him babyface. But they never should turn him babyface to begin with. I don't care what type of.
No, he was fine. I was fine with him turning babyface. He was still
He was already. He needed to be heel. He was a dominant, believable heel, and he should have never cashed in his. He didn't need to announce his cash in either. I'm too big. I'm too strong to announce my cash in. No, he just cashed it in. You should have cashed it in SummerSlam. Just cash it in, take the title.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed in you this evening, Mountie, that you would say some nonsense like that. This is not 1995.
I don't know. I think there's moments where, you know, the announcing makes sense. Like Malik said, you know, the RVD one that made sense. You know,
one time.
No.
Time is the only time.
I think it looks dumb when you have like a 400-pound dude running to the ring with a referee next to him. It's like, oh, come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it.
Wait a minute. So how does it make sense? How does it make sense for Braun to cash in his Money in the Bank announcement? But Brock didn't do it. He just took the belt. Brock just went in and took
it. It was
it's
different.
It's up to
Strowman was
the
a heel
winner.
too. There's two big guys.
I'll explain it.
It makes no difference.
It's up to the winner to decide what title they're going for and when they want to do it.
Won't make a difference.
So you're talking about surprise.
Many people who are babyface.
They're putting all kinds of things on the table for you.
Plenty of people who were baby faces have cashed in Money in the Bank and stole the opportunity. CM Punk did it in 08, and it was great. It was fantastic. CM Punk did it again in 09. Before he took
the situation.
But he was still face when he did it.
Hold on.
Yes, agreed. Look, I retract that all face wrestlers but certain characters in like what Kyron said, that character of John Cena, like, I don't know. I guess like that's the way that they wanted to go because he was appealing to kids.
It's literally The Rock. The Rock in 2021 was the Money in the Bank person and ran in after John Cena. Let's just use him for one example because we're talking about him. Just won an Iron Man match to retain the WWE Championship, and The Rock runs into the ring with a referee, rock bottoms John Cena, and gives him some people's elbow. You, me, Kyron, Malik, Rambo, Conrad, and the entire wrestling world would lose their freaking minds.
Exactly.
Yeah,
well, the Rock is a different character to John Cena. The Rock swears in his promos. John Cena is like, I am a robot. I am John Cena. I love little kids.
It would be the same for John Cena though. If John Cena did it, people would have been like, okay.
Look, I think there is a moment where yes, you have to use the opportunistic advantage, and then there's times where it's just like, you know what, we're gonna do it another way, and that's on them.
Hold on, this is not going to turn into a John Cena rant. I already told him. Number 13 is best wrestler in the world ever. Okay, that's my stance. Number 13. That's not a disrespectful comment. Now so this is not a John Cena rant. I'm just using him for an example. So you're telling me John Cena is so good of a human being that he has to literally change the true definition of what Money in the Bank is all about to maintain his character?
I guess.
John Cena, that's the way they wanted to do it.
But he should have never. That's why I said he should have never won it, because to begin with, when he first won it, I was a little excited, but then I was like, wait a minute, how is he going to cash in? Because he's not gonna do it by cheating. John Cena. That's everything.
It's not smart. It's not an advantage to you want. But it's one of those things where he wants to face the guy fresh, and and show the world that
But
he can beat him fresh. That's all it
But
really
that's just
comes down
stupid. That's just like if Hogan won in the '80s, and Hogan's like, you know what? I'm not gonna cash in on Macho Man blindsidedly. I'm gonna face you 1-on-1, and I'm gonna take the belt from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna face Macho fresh just because I'm a good human being. Are you kidding me?
Like,
Well, look,
Yeah, but here's one thing, Sean.
you have money in the bank for a reason. Go take the opportunity. Take it.
How did we enjoy WrestleMania 9 after Bret Hart and Yokozuna had that match? Did anybody here enjoy Hulk Hogan winning that match right after?
I enjoyed it as a 7-year-old kid.
Right, and we're not 7 years old here.
Well, I wasn't alive.
We're talking here.
No, right now, it's disgusting what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
My
point is, wouldn't you have rather had at that point, like Hulk Hogan challenge Yokozuna at another pay-per-view?
I wouldn't have had Hulk Hogan challenging, period.
Well, that's a different story. But my point is,
if Hogan was gonna challenge him,
all around. It works all around.
If Hogan was gonna challenge him, he should have just lost at King of the Ring like he did. He just lose. He should have just lost it. The point of having Money in the Bank, to me, I look at Money in the Bank like this, bro. If you have Money in the Bank, you should. I don't mind losing unless it makes sense, right? It's okay, but like. You should never announce your Money in the Bank cash in. It should always be a surprise, unannounced. You don't expect when it's going to happen.
Fair enough. You know what? If they were going to have, like, let's say, let's say it was Shawn versus Kyron, and I have the briefcase. You guys have your pay-per-view. It's about to start. The bell's about to ring, and then I come out and say, "That's it. We're going to make it a 3-way right now." If you're going to do it, at least there's an element of surprise there. I guess so.
I'll give you that.
To your point before about Sean or Malik, whoever said it about ticket sales and stuff, this is why they do it. This is why they announce returns before they come back, guys. This is what they do. They want you to tune in to fucking Raw or SmackDown or the pay-per-view. They don't want to take the chance. They don't want to do that.
What was you gonna say?
You feel me?
I'm gonna say here's my thing with Cena cashing that no one looks at. What happened with the aftermath of everything? What did it lead to? It led to obviously Punk turning heel and the stuff with The Rock. So I think it led to some good stuff with Punk. That's why I also look at this is hindsight, but it led to other stuff. Yes.
I'm not with the Money in the Bank cash-ins, man. It kind of feels like, honestly, to me, it feels like the same. I feel the same with the Royal Rumble. Like, if you win the Rumble, you should win at WrestleMania. Like, that's how I see it. Like, why you win the Rumble and then lose at WrestleMania?
I think the reason why Malik, you and I are on the same page as a Cena fan compared to me and Kyron, and I got mad love for Kyron, but in this case, I think Kyron, what you're doing is you're not being able to separate your John Cena fandom from the. Hold on, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong after I'm done. You're not able to separate your John Cena fandom from the definition of what Money in the Bank is supposed to be. I understand John Cena is a superhero. I understand John Cena is a good guy. I understand John Cena doesn't take any shortcuts.
So why is it such a hard thing understanding?
So maybe because it takes away from the validity of Money in the Bank.
That's his
choice. It's not just with Cena. I also felt the same way with Strowman. Like, well, let's be honest. Strowman won Money in the Bank because they didn't want. Let's call a spade a spade. Strowman won Money in the Bank because they didn't want fans to turn on the SummerSlam main event, which is why they had him stand out there the whole match. But in Strowman's own words before the SummerSlam match between Lesnar and Reigns, I refuse to be a coward. So I'm challenging whoever wins this match right to this. Like, Strowman would never, to me, Strowman, even though, and yes, he was a babyface at the time, Malik, remember, he was a babyface all the way up till they turned him heel for no reason. Strowman seemed like the type of person that would say, I'm going to challenge you here. That's what Strowman seemed like. Now, the problem with Strowman was the way the Hell in a Cell match with Reigns ended. That's the problem with Strowman's cash-in, was the fact that Lesnar came in, laid them both out, and he didn't get the briefcase back or nothing. That's the problem with Strowman. It wasn't.
He still should have never announced his cash-in. Plenty of good guys have cash in Money in the Bank, and they took the belt, and nobody ever said, "Oh, that he can't do that." I mean, Dean Ambrose did it the same night.
Princess Rollins came back. But Malik, like, the point of.
But it's Strowman's character too. Take the belt.
I get it, but the point in like Strowman's case, like, the point of him being a monster champion is not cashing. Let's just say it was Daniel Bryan, a heel Daniel Bryan. How much of a monster are you really setting yourself up for your title reign? A smart one?
A smart one.
Kane did it too. Kane,
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Braun Strowman never got it done doing it fairly.
Well, look, maybe this is all a bad example with Braun Strowman because they just fucked up completely.
Let's talk about Jack Swagger.
CM Punk, I understand. He wasn't the biggest guy.
Can we not talk about Jack Swagger?
Jack Swagger had a good cash in though.
Let's talk about Jack Swagger. Nobody liked Jack Swagger winning at WrestleMania 26. Nobody liked the fact that Jack Swagger had the briefcase. Nobody liked the fact that Jack Swagger was champion after he cashed it in. But that night on SmackDown, when he cashed it in, the crowd went insane. It's because of what the briefcase represents.
I'll be honest. As someone who has...
Wait, am I right or am I wrong?
Because anyone remember TLC 2011. Yeah. Now here's the thing. I've witnessed the cash in person. I was at TLC 2011 when Daniel Bryan cashed in.
Nice.
We were going crazy, but at the same time, it's like, I remember as a kid, I'm thinking Daniel Bryan really just cashed in on a Big Show who was also a face at the time. But like
it happens. The Money in the Bank excitement, bro. You could even use bro when Carmella cashed in, bro. People went crazy that night when she cashed in, bro. The fans popped like crazy when she cashed in. People were chanting her name, Carmella, come on out, cash in Money in the Bank in, bro. A lot of people don't even like her, bro. But that night in general, when she cashed in, everybody loved it. I cheered. I was like, yes. She did it. She got the title. Great, congratulations.
You have to be. I'm not going to go as far to say X-Pac, but you can suck. You can suck and cash in Money in the Bank, and the fans will cheer you.
Plenty of people.
Well, Jack Swagger was living proof. I mean, that's okay. I think if everyone who ever won Money in the Bank, he's the one that probably shouldn't have done it.
I have a question for you guys.
The crowd went nuts when he cashed in.
I have a question for you.
And I went nuts. And I didn't like Jack Swagger before the cash in, after the cash in, when he was champion, when he won the Money in the Bank. But when he cashed in that night, I loved it.
So did I.
I have a question for you four, or three, I should say. And I have a question for the fans in the chat. What took longer? Jack Swagger taking down the briefcase from the Money in the Bank hook, or Paul Heyman trying to undo the handcuffs?
I was about to bring up Swagger.
The handcuffs.
I want to see it in the chat, guys.
The handcuffs.
Endless blank, bro.
You know, at that you can make.
I don't care.
I think at the time when you're watching it live, you can kind of make an excuse for the briefcase thing, but the handcuffs, bro, that was like when you're watching it, because you kind of knew. Obviously, you knew that he was gonna take the handcuffs off, so it was like.
I was like, oh my god!
You know what got bad? It got bad when the ref was counting, and you heard the count stop. He was like, "Oh man, they really."
No, I think with me is this with Swagger. Swagger's was funny because I remember watching it May 26.
They should have switched right away, bro. They should have said, "Fuck this guy next in line."
Next in line. My problem with Swagger was I remember watching.
Ref, I would have thrown him off.
Me too. I remember watching WrestleMania 26, and this is me as a 10-year-old. I'm about to be 21 next month. Now, I remember watching. I'm like, he's struggling with the case. I'm thinking, someone's gonna attack him. Like, I'm thinking at this point he's not even gonna win because he's taking him almost a whole 30 seconds to undo the case. I'm thinking someone's gonna attack him or something's going down. Like, if you had to take that long to unhook the case, you got to call an audible. Like, you missed your chance. Next man up.
Yeah,
you're fucked. You know.
I know. I gotta ask you, Sean. I know this question was for you because Conrad's in the chat. He wants to know your top 5 bubble jackets. I know that question was just made for you.
Top 5 bubble jackets.
The blue one, the red one.
The one I'm gonna strangle you with.
What color is it? It's gonna be Buffalo Bills color.
I actually own a bubble vest, and it's black and white. So I'd say black and white.
Black and white.
I just want a bubble vest since I was a kid.
That's the one he's gonna.
I wouldn't wear bubble vests if I was a professional wrestler trying to be taken serious. That's what I would.
Well, this is the first time I heard that.
You know what? If I ever, I'm making a promise to you, Sean. If this TikTok thing ever blows up for me and I ever get invited to WWE and I go on TV, I'm wearing a bubble vest. I'm purposely wearing one. I'm purposely gonna. I'm not gonna say nothing. Look, I'm not even gonna say nothing. That's gonna be my shout out to you right there. The bubble vest. You should know instantly right there. As soon as you see it on TV, I want you to tweet it. Like, just don't even say nothing. Just tweet it out. My man Malik right there. Bubble vest.
And if I ever make it, I'm gonna wear a hood.
I'm going to take 10 seconds to talk about this because I talked about it too many times. And I want to say something I don't think I've ever said. Kushida, I really enjoy you. No.
That was a good match last night.
I really enjoy you as in bell to bell, you're excellent. Bell to bell, you are excellent. That's all I'm going to say.
Do I need to play?
That was a great match.
Do I need to play the clip? Because I still have the clip. Because I still have the clip on my phone. Do I need to play it?
You gentlemen and Conrad and Rambo at home have never heard me disrespect Kushida as far as his in-ring ability.
No, you have not,
and I never will.
All right, we'll take a couple more before we get into our own stuff. I'll start with the bottom. Do you think WWE gave Charlotte too many titles? Sean,
Yes.
I'll start with Mountie because I know Mountie's a big Charlotte fan. I'm just going. Hold on. Before you answer, I'll go on the record. Me, Sean, and Kyron are going to say yes for sure. So, love Charlotte.
You know me too well.
That's part of the reason why people don't like her.
Now 11 already. Fuck.
Damn, how many is she at?
Yeah, look.
I
think she's in double digits.
She's at 10 or 11. She's at 10 or 11 for
Look,
sure.
She might even be.
I'll say this.
I think
I'll say
it's
this
way too soon for that. You know.
Before you answer, I'll say this.
All right.
I'm with you 100% on Charlotte. She's fantastic. She's great in the ring, great on the mic. She is great. Nobody can deny her talent. I've always said, personally, my opinion, in ring wise, I thought she was the best out of the four. In ring wise, I thought she was the best one. She's not my favorite, but I thought she was the best. But the reason that I can't really find her life because she has so many title reigns. You know what I mean? She has so many title reigns. Some of them are pointless. Some of them she wins the belt and she'll have it for like 2 weeks and then she'll just drop it. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
When she won the NXT title, pointless.
NXT women's championship count toward world title reigns?
I count it, and that dude, it's 11. If you count the NXT women's title, she has 11 reigns. And the Divas title.
Yeah. No, actually 12. I mean, no, excuse me. Wait, let me do my numbers again. That's 12.
Yes.
If you count NXT and the Divas title, that's 12.
And you gotta
it is.
You gotta think too. She's still in the prime of her career. She's gonna be around much longer, so she's gonna have many title reigns.
That's my.
You know they're gonna get it.
Go ahead.
I mean, you know they're gonna probably try to get her to 16. She's already. If you want to count NXT and Divas, she's already at 12. If you don't want to count those, she's at 9. My problem is this, and Malik, you pretty much hit the nail right on the head. It's not the fact that she wins the title because at that point, whatever. It's the fact that, to me at least, the other 3 horsewomen have held the title less, but I feel like their reigns were more meaningful. Like, Sasha to a debate, but I'd argue this reign she has right now. Charlotte's won the title so many times, but what reign did she have that was really, really memorable? That's my problem. Win the titles, but she doesn't really do any, like, have any big memorable reigns with them. It's not necessarily her fault.
Take Kyron's point, and then add to the fact these stupid title reigns, like how she robbed, robbed Asuka the title right before 35. Like, it's like
that was stupid.
It's like, my God,
that was pointless.
Yeah,
Rhea Ripley too, bro. Rob.
Yeah.
I think those two reigns are the biggest offense to me because
it's not her fault, bro. It's not her fault. It's booking wise, but booking wise. She has the
money, bro.
She has the Roman Reigns effect. She has the John Cena effect, the Hulk Hogan effect. It's like she's become one of those people where, like, when she gets in the match, you root against her a lot because you don't want her to win. And it shouldn't always be like that. You know what I'm saying? When she fights people, you should kind of want her to win to a certain extent sometimes. But like now, it's like every time she fights, I don't think I've ever in any championship match. I don't think I've ever rooted for her once to win. I don't think I've ever been like, you know what, I want Charlotte to win this match. Every title match she's been in, I think I've been like, I don't want her to win it all.
I have not seen Charlotte in a match since she faced Nikki Bella.
Damn, John, you took the words right out of my mouth. In all seriousness, I have rooted for Charlotte. I think when she took the title from Natalya, I rooted for her because I really did not want to see Natalya versus Alexa Bliss. I think the biggest offenders was beating Asuka at WrestleMania 34, which
loved it.
I didn't like that decision. Okay. Winning the title from Asuka literally a week before WrestleMania 35 just to make a winner take all, to me. And this is even on Charlotte, but she shouldn't have been added to that match to me. I would have done Becky and Ronda like everyone, like it was originally hyped up to be, and just done Charlotte versus Asuka for the title of WrestleMania 35. That way you get 2 women's title matches. Asuka doesn't get put in a battle royal, and I feel like you can get Asuka her redemption from what happened the year before. And also, I don't think she should have won the title from Rhea Ripley from Rhea either, especially because we never really got any payoff for that.
One of the biggest. To have the first ever women's main event WrestleMania was huge. We come from an era where women's wrestling wasn't taken serious, Nobody ever thought in this chat that you would see a women's main event at WrestleMania ever in your lifetime.
Mm-mm.
Have the first ever women's main event at WrestleMania. It should have been Becky versus Ronda, number one, because Becky was the shit at the time. She was so over.
She was like
and Ronda Rousey was already believable day one since she stepped in WWE because she's Ronda Rousey. So I mean, everything believable about that match was there, bro. It was there. I understand why they added Charlotte there. I get it. For sure, Becky became double champ. She got both titles at WrestleMania. Great. Had her moment. Great moment for her. But it didn't need to happen that way, bro. You could have just had Becky versus Ronda one-on-one, and it would have been huge. That match right there sold itself. People that day.
It's one of those things, man. Like, with Charlotte, with the amount, she helped a lot putting women's wrestling on the map, guys. She was a bigger deal than Becky, at the time, especially. You know what I mean? So I can understand they wanted her to be a part of that moment, that first time in history. It's like, how do you not reward Charlotte, who helped, raise the 4 horsewomen? I mean, come on, like, out of all 4 of them, she was the one that really rose the fastest. You can maybe make an argument for Sasha Banks. Other than that, like, so in my mind, that's my opinion on that. My opinion on her beating Asuka, I really don't feel like there was anybody else that could have beat Asuka at that given time. I felt like it made sense for Charlotte to be the one to do that. And overall, I think you guys are right where there's just been too many title reigns too fast, because especially if she's going to have a longevity career, they could have spaced them out like a lot more. And like to Kyron's point, have a longer reign with something like Charlotte. Charlotte has that, especially if you label yourself the queen. I mean, shit, she should have a fucking long ass reign to help with that, in my opinion. So, that's what I think. Now, however, we never really know what's going to happen, what happens behind the scenes, right? We don't know if somehow Charlotte says to McMahon or whoever, like, hey, look, I only want to do this until I'm 35 or 30 or something. I don't even remember how old she is now. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if she only has like 5 years left, how old is she?
34. She'll be 35 in April.
Yeah. So if she only has, let's say, 5 years left, and they want to make this a storyline for her against her father, I don't know, or whatever, to make it special. Well, then we'll find out later on. Maybe that's why they had so many reigns. There should be always a reason why they do things a certain way. But I do agree that 11, if she's going to be here for a long time, it's pretty quick to have 11 at this point. That's, it waters it down,
I think we're 35, and this is something I saw someone brought up. The plan was always to do Charlotte versus Ronda at WrestleMania 35. Even back at WrestleMania 34, that was the plan. WWE did not count on Becky getting as over as she did. So even when Becky won the Rumble, they still said, well, we had this match with Charlotte planned out. We're not going to bail on it. So they still added it. To me, I feel like they just shoehorned Charlotte in because, and I'm just going to go, this is not even like, this is going for storyline purposes. Becky won the Rumble. Okay. But she loses her spot, and Charlotte just gets it. Like Vince just gave it to her. And then we get the Elimination Chamber. Fastlane, my bad. And Becky and Charlotte have a match. And instead of the match being winner, is a straight up number one contenders match, only one goes. The stipulation was Becky has to win to get into the match. But it's like, well, she won the Rumble. Why is she the one that has to earn her way back into the match when she won the Rumble? Shouldn't it have been either Charlotte has to win to get into the match, or you just do Charlotte and Becky, and the winner goes to WrestleMania face Ronda, and that's that. But they made it so contrived that it was so contrived, such a contrivance going into the match of Becky getting taken out, Becky's leg injury, then the stuff, everything they went along with is like, you want this match to be special, sure, but you're booking all this that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I feel the same way, bro. I mean, I don't like when superstars get a lot of title reigns unless it makes sense. Same with, as much as I love John Cena, my favorite wrestler of all time, but I don't think he should have 16 world title reigns. I mean, like, some of those title reigns were he had for like 2 weeks meaningless. Like when he feuded with Orton. 1 week Orton had the belt, the next week Cena had the belt, then Orton had the belt, then Cena had like, why are we flip-flopping the title so much, bro? Like, can people have legit title runs? Like, why are you just flip-flopping the title that way they can have that nod on their list? That's why I don't like I know you brought up the point about the Miz cashing Money in the Bank and Drew losing it, but I don't like when people win the belt and then they have it for 10 seconds and then they lose it. It's stupid to me. Like, this gives you, because people, they'll count it as a title reign. You didn't have it. You had it for 10 seconds. That's not a title reign. You had the belt for 10 seconds, bro. That don't count. Like, you had no title reign. You had no title run. You didn't have it for a period of time. Like, I don't like when they do that. Obviously they do it to give the same with Orton. I was happy when Orton won the belt, but then I found out, but then he lost it, like, you know, a month later. I'm like, damn, like, I thought he was going to get actual run this time. You know what I mean? Like, you just gave him the belt.
But it was pretty obvious.
Just to have that little one nod. You know what I'm saying? The same with, you know, with Triple H. Triple H had it way too many times too. Why Triple H always had, especially with the World Heavyweight title, we are another thing, the reign of terror of that. But I mean, he has, like, you know, these people have these titles so many times, and it wouldn't be a problem if they had it so many times and it made sense storyline wise. But you just get them for 2 weeks or a month or even not even that. And even if you have it for a period of time, they don't do nothing with them. I mean, you don't do nothing with those reigns, so they feel meaningless. So I don't know. That's just me. So let's get into. We're gonna move on from you guys' questions. Always appreciate the questions. Questions are always welcome. Let's move into a little survey that I got for you guys for here. So we're gonna start off with these 7 questions right here. Everybody will answer, and then we'll go into the lightning round. 13 questions about pick a star who you guys would choose. But easy to name superstars, and then you just pick between those two. So first question I got for you guys: what is one match you would erase from history completely? One match that you hated so much that you would erase it, that you never want to see it again. One match that has to be that you would erase completely from the wrestling history.
Oh, easily Jeff Hardy versus Sting at Victory Road.
Yeah, that's mine.
That's yours too. What about you, Sean?
Yeah. I went there immediately.
For obvious reasons, I agree with that, but I would go Brock versus Goldberg at WrestleMania.
That was the other one.
I was going to say that.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with DX versus Brothers of Destruction. I was gonna say Brock versus Goldberg.
That's a good pick.
I was gonna say Goldberg versus Taker,
bro.
But I'm gonna say Brothers of Destruction versus DX mainly because.
You mean Shawn Michaels' last match?
Yes, his actual last match.
The match that doesn't exist.
I'm gonna say Brothers of Destruction versus DX
Michaels, right?
mainly
because
like a
bald person.
This is why I'm gonna say that match in general. It's not just because the match was terrible. Shawn Michaels had one of the best retirement storylines / matches maybe ever. He maybe had the best one. If you look at storyline wise and match in general altogether, he had the best one. Storyline was incredible. Streak versus career, one of the best build-ups ever. Promo package, everything was fire about this. The match was great. Retires. Basically, I mean, he was still basically in his prime, honestly. He could have won another 5 years if he wanted to. Still at the top of his game. Left the game on a high note. Salute. Okay. Says I'm never coming back. Respected. Cool. Then he comes out of all the matches that they announced. You know what? Shawn versus AJ. They teased that for a while. Shawn's like, you know what? Nah, I don't want to do that. Would have been a great match. A dream match. Shawn's like, no, I don't want to do it. Right. But he comes back for the Brothers of Destruction versus DX. Look, this match in 2002 or 2006 would have been great. Fire. But the crowds would have went crazy for it. But 2018, first off, let's start off. Shawn Michaels had a bald head. Start off. That's what threw me off to begin with. Shawn had a bald head, bro.
It wasn't very nice. It made me feel bad to see him bald.
Triple H was bald too. He didn't even have hair at this point.
But you know what? For some reason, it works better for Triple H.
I mean, but Triple H in his best days had the hair. You know what I mean? Had the hair.
Sure.
Well,
Kane was overweight. Taker's old now, and it's just like, bro, like so many bad. It's like they had a curse on them that day because everything that you were worried about went wrong in that match. Everything happened in that match. Kane's mask falling off. Shawn Michaels falling on his face. Triple H got hurt. Legitimately tore his pec like 5 minutes to the match. He got one arm now. It's just, bro. It was just chaos, bro. It was just chaos.
Well, see, here's the thing, Sean. Malik will tell you this. For one, I didn't watch that show, so to me, that match doesn't exist because, and plus, the Davey never mentioned it after the fact, so that match doesn't exist. But so, like I said, I always said straight up because here's the thing. I told Malik going into that show that not only that show was going to be terrible with all the controversy in real life and everything, because we all know the stuff that was going on in Saudi Arabia at the time, but also I said that match is going to be terrible. I didn't even look now. So I said, I'm gonna sit this one out. I hear after the fact the match was god off and the whole show was terrible too. So it's like I don't know what people were expecting. Especially with Goldberg and Taker. Especially with Goldberg and Taker. like I would say Goldberg and Taker because Undertaker almost died in the match, but I said Sting and Jeff Hardy because Jeff showed up to the match drugged out of his mind. But it's like
the Taker and Goldberg match. I mean, because Taker hurt Goldberg. He dropped Goldberg on his head too on that tombstone. So it was like, bro, like that's what these guys are too. You don't put two guys in their 50s as their primes in a match together, bro. Goldberg versus Taker in their primes, okay, could have been great because Goldberg could barely pick up Taker, bro. Back then, Goldberg picking up anybody with ease. In his prime, he's picking up Big Show. He's picking up Brock. It don't matter how big you are. He's picking up. He was picking people up like this, the overhead stuff, showing his strength. And Goldberg in his prime got super strength, bro. Could pick up anybody. But when he could barely pick up Taker, I'm like, come on, bro. You can't even pick up Undertaker no more. Like,
Conrad said, well, Shawn was still the best in that match. That's being the best of the worst. That's not.
The only reason Shawn was still the best is because Triple H got hurt. He only had
everyone else was bad. It's like this. If all four of us are playing basketball, right, and we're all having a 3-point shootout, and let's say I shoot 5 for 30, Malik, you shoot 4 for 30, Shawn 3 for 30, and Mountie shoots 2 for 30. Technically, I was the best in the competition, but I was still bad.
I know what you're trying to say.
That's like, bro. That's just like right now, gentlemen. Say right now, Michael Jordan said he's coming back to basketball at his age. He said, I'm coming back. He said, I'm coming back to the Bulls, and I'm coming out of retirement at his age right now. Who's gonna be excited for that?
I'm excited.
People are gonna be like, bro, are you Michael Jordan serious? Come on, bro.
Come on, Malik, you know good and well. One, you're gonna watch, and two, when they play the Lakers, that's gonna be on primetime TV. That's gonna be a national television.
But it's not gonna be the same. He's not gonna be the same MJ, bro. It's the same. It's the same with Shaq too. Shaq said right now, I'm coming out of retirement. Right now, I'm coming back.
Well, Shaq's fat self couldn't come out of retirement anyway.
Come on, bro. Like people can't come. You should not come out. The same with Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice said right now, I'm coming out of retirement. Right now, I'm coming back to play football. Like, what? Why? For what? It's too old. Don't come back. Stay away. That's what I said. That's why. That's why I always respect. No. Why would I watch Jerry Rice come back to play football?
So Sean, if MJ come out of retirement, right? He got in shape. Let's say he got in shape, and the Bulls play the Lakers. One is going to be on national TV. And even though MJ, you're telling me just for the one chance to see LeBron James and Michael Jordan in the same court, you're not going to watch that game.
Well, I said already, I would watch.
Of course, people.
Thank you. You're going to watch. I would watch.
But you know who's going to win? You know who's going to dominate who because of age-wise. Come on now, bro. Like. It's not even a close competition. It was people, and then people would make the excuse of that Jordan got dominated by LeBron just because of age-wise. It wouldn't even make sense, bro. It's pointless. That's why I always respect Stone Cold Steve Austin. They're never coming out of retirement. Once Stone Cold retired, it was it for him. He was done. Never came back. That's why I always respect Stone Cold, bro. I'm sure how many matches they probably asked us to go to. I'm sure WWE probably gave him numerous offers to come back and wrestle.
They wanted him. You wanted to do a match between him and Hogan at WrestleMania 22, but after that stuff with Michaels went down at SummerSlam, Austin said no.
I don't blame him. He should have never came back. So another question for you guys right here: favorite WWE video game? What's your favorite WWE video game all time, Sean? What you got?
Oh my goodness, I gotta go SmackDown versus Raw. I don't remember exactly what year it was. It was probably like 08, 09, somewhere in that range. It was lit.
I gotta say SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. I don't think I spent any more time as a 6-7-year-old on the PS2 late 4 in the morning just playing that game. I spent more time in that game than any other game in my life.
Yeah, mine was SVR 07 too. Here Comes the Pain. I love that one too.
Here Comes the Pain. Fire.
No Mercy. My personal favorite. I never played the N64. I didn't play that one.
No Mercy, great game. If you had the GameCube, Day of Reckoning. If you guys had the GameCube out there, Day of Reckoning was a great game. I never had the GameCube. And all the SmackDown vs. Raw games. I mean, they're all playable.
Oh wait, man. Besides 08 wasn't really that good. 08 wasn't really.
08 was fire. Tripping. 08 was fire. 06, 07, 08 are the three best SmackDown vs. Raw ever. I will play those games any day of the week. Don't care how many. I'll play those games. Let it spray.
For me,
SVR 08, one of the best SmackDown vs. Raw games ever.
I think for me, the reason I don't have a high opinion of 08, and this is personal, because I had it on a PSP. So I didn't really have it, on a PS2 or a console. I had it on a handheld. But if you ask me, like the wrestling games, I can always play SVR 06, SVR 07, SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. I would say Here Comes the Pain, but I didn't get to play that one that much. I only played when my cousin had it. So I gotta say the first three I named. I spent a lot of time on SVR 11 too. Those are probably the
SVR 11 was good too. SVR 10 I played a lot too. SVR 10 I played a lot too. All right. What is your favorite Mick Foley character? Out of all the Mick Foley characters, what's your favorite one?
Damn, that's a tough one.
Dude Love, man. Dude Love was awesome.
Really, Dude Love?
Oh, man.
I love what he did. Obviously, Cactus Jack. But I'm talking about from entertainment standpoint. His work with Stone Cold with the tag titles and against Triple H in '97. It was must see TV. Dude Love was a lot of fun.
Man, it's between Cactus Jack and Mankind. I'm a lean Cactus Jack mainly because of that stuff with Triple H. Even though Mankind had held up with the Undertaker, and he was pretty funny in his own right. Also, Commissioner Foley was good too. I know that's not the one you would think of. Commissioner Foley was good, but I think Cactus Jack mainly because of that promo he cut on Triple H for Royal Rumble when he switched from Mankind to Cactus Jack. That's one of the best promos ever. So I'll probably say Cactus Jack, Mankind, Dude Love, Commissioner Foley.
Mine would be Mankind. One of the coolest characters ever. Great character to come at the right time for the Undertaker, for the perfect opponent, because Undertaker really was fresh out of opponents at the time. I mean, he beaten everybody, he faced everybody. Great opponent at the time for Undertaker. One of my favorite promos. You talking about the promo with Mankind switch Cactus Jack. One of my favorite promos is when Mankind was doing the interview with Jim Ross backstage, bro. When he was talking about his child, just all types of crazy shit, bro. Talking about his childhood, he had missing pieces in his head, pulling out his hair and everything. Love Cactus Jack. Dude Love was okay to me. Dude Love was okay. He wasn't one of my personal favorites, but Dude Love was solid. I mean, all his characters got over it. So I mean, he did all these characters, and I think that shows you how great Mick Foley really was, because he did multiple characters and all of them got over extremely well. So I don't know if anybody else really could have really done that. You know what I mean? Especially with people knowing who you are, like, and to an extent, you know what I mean? 'Cause people actually know who he was at this stage of his career. But I'm gonna say Mankind was my favorite. What about you, Sean Mounty? What's your favorite Mick Foley character?
Well, first and foremost, favorite video game, I gotta go SmackDown versus Raw 07. I love that one. That's got to be mine. Second place 06, and there was a bunch that I really liked on N64, like WrestleMania 2000. I think it was called 2000. No Mercy, WCW NWO Revenge. Awesome shit. Favorite Mick Foley, I gotta go with Mankind, man. Like actually, that's a hard one. Like, because I love Cactus Jack. Dude Love was cool. Oh man, that's a really, really hard one. I guess the one that got my attention the most, well, when I was younger, was Cactus Jack, obviously. But I thought Mankind was a pretty interesting character. Especially like boiler room matches and stuff. I'm gonna say Mankind, because I really enjoyed his feuds with Kane and Undertaker and stuff like that. Like that, I'm gonna go Mankind.
Isn't that the great thing about all of Mick Foley's characters, that we can all pick a different one and you won't hear any slander?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Mankind
pretty much
was pretty dope. All right, what about this one? What's your favorite Elimination Chamber match? Favorite chamber match? So we got the chamber coming up, so I figured it was appropriate to ask. Favorite chamber match?
Damn, I don't know. I have a couple in my head.
All right, just give me two. Give me two.
Okay, I probably had to say either the one in 2017 that Bray Wyatt won. I love that match, and the New Year's Revolution 2005, mainly because of the story it told with Batista and everything. And the original was good too. The original first one was good too.
I'm gonna say New Year's Revolution 2005, and I'm gonna say No Way Out 2009 when Triple H won the belt.
I think when you talk about No Way Out 2009, is you gotta include both, because they both tell an overarching story with Edge, which is why you act like No Way Out 2009. Both of them should place together because they both tell the same overarching story. Edge starts the first one as champion, loses it, and early in the match, and then comes back and wins it in the main event. Plus the final two are rated great. So I think those two should go together.
I liked I kind of liked the one at SummerSlam 2003. It was the main event, You had Triple H. He was against like Goldberg and Jericho and Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, Kevin Nash. I kind of like that one. I agree with you about New Year's Revolution, of course, because of the whole build with Evolution and everything. Sick. And to be honest, I enjoyed the one with that started Kofi Mania. I think I thought that was a really good one, to be honest with you. And I liked I don't know whose idea it was, but having Ali, I think, what was it, take a spot in the Elimination Chamber, because if you guys remember, Kofi replaced Ali, and we don't know what Ali, if he was supposed to win or get a push, and they could use that and leverage that in a storyline if they want somehow.
Right now,
with Ali and Kofi are doing on social media, what Ali and Kofi are doing on social media, and plus the stuff they've been saying, if this isn't leading to a WrestleMania match, then that's a big missed opportunity. You got the story right there.
Yeah, the story is there to tell itself, man. So I mean, it all makes sense. Sean, since you coming back, I'll let you answer this question before I change it. What's your favorite chamber match?
Oh, I really enjoyed 03 with Goldberg, Nash, Jericho, Orton.
Yeah.
I've probably seen that Elimination Chamber more than any other chamber match, because I used to have my dad DVR that show, so I've seen that show way too many times. Mm-hmm. I think my problem with the show is everyone else is Triple H shouldn't have beaten Goldberg, especially after one hammer shot. Like that kind of, I think that leaves a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth.
All right. I'm sure you guys don't like this one. Favorite superstar from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s?
That's an easy one. That's not even hard for me. 80s, Randy Savage. 90s, Stone Cold Steve Austin. 2000s, John Cena.
80s, Ric Flair. 90s, The Rock. 2000s, John Cena.
80s, Hulk Hogan. 90s, The Rock. And no, that's wrong. 80s Hulk Hogan. 90s. So close to, because The Rock's gonna either be my 2000s or my 90s. I'll say The Rock in the 90s, and then I'll throw you guys a curveball. I'll say Randy Orton in the 2000s.
Yeah, that boy.
Yeah.
All right. For the 80s, I'm going with Hulk Hogan. Grew up with him, loved him. That's just how it went. Sorry. Throughout the 90s, believe it or not, at that point, I'm around, I'm 5 at 1990 at that point. And then there was some interesting years, let's put it that way. And then obviously like NWO started later on and then whatever. So my favorite throughout that era, and I was glued to the tube every time he was on, was Razor Ramon.
Nice.
I was a huge Razor guy. So, and believe it or not, I love Diesel too. So the fact that Hogan, Diesel, and Razor were his NWO, I'm like, are they writing this show for me? I'm like, this is fantastic. And then for the 2000s, it's no brainer. If anybody knows me longer than a minute, knows that I'm a massive Randy Orton mark. And I, paid several $100s to meet him in person, and I felt like I was going to pass out.
I think
I'm wearing his clothing brand. Look at his Slither. I'm wearing his wife's fucking clothing brand, bro. That's how much of a fan I am. What did you do today? What did you do?
I think the reason I chose Stone Cold over The Rock, and you guys know this, I prefer Rock in the 2000s with his Hollywood gimmick more. Like, I prefer Rock to Austin, but if you're just going off the 90s strictly, then it's Austin. But if you add 2000 Rock.
I respect that, but like Hollywood Rock was only for like 3 months.
Yeah. And it was the greatest 3 months of his career.
Wow, that is so true.
From an entertainment standpoint,
in his career,
I'll say this. Maybe from an entertainment standpoint, but that wasn't the best run of his career, though.
The Rock.
I'm talking about from an entertainment standpoint. I've never laughed harder.
The Rock from No Way Out or the SmackDown before No Way Out till Backlash is better than Rock in 99, Rock in 2000, Rock in 2001, Rock when he faced Hogan in 02. He's better than all those incarnations of The Rock.
Rock in 2000 Rock.
From an entertainment
was on fire, bro.
I've never laughed harder at any wrestler than I did at Hollywood Rock. I've never laughed harder.
I will give you this. your perspective on The Rock is the most unique I've ever heard.
Yep.
I'll say Stone Cold was the bigger star, but I like The Rock more, so that's why I picked The Rock.
Same.
03 Rock better than 2000 Rock, better than 99 Rock.
Maybe not from a star standpoint, but I'm just talking about I've never laughed harder or been more entertained by The Rock than I was in that 3 month span. I know it's 3 months, a huge sample size, but when I tell you I've never like things like the feud with the Hurricane, the Sacramento Rock concert, that's some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen.
It was hilarious. Don't get it twisted. Like I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying like Rock in '99 was almost of like Mount. That's what makes him my number 5 wrestler to ever live.
And I'm not a 9. If you ask me, outside 03, I would probably say 2000 to 2001. I'm not a 9. I just think I laughed harder to Rock in 03.
I respect it. All
right, what is your guys' favorite catchphrase from any wrestler? Your favorite catchphrase?
Go ahead. I'll wait.
No, go ahead, Sean. You sound like you was ready to pop it out.
I'm about to say if you smell, but I'm gonna do.
You can't see me.
Rudy Poo Candy Ass. Hey, this ain't sing along with the champ. I love what he did when he got mad at the fans for singing along in '99. Matter of fact, my favorite wrestling promo of all time was when he on Sunday Night Heat before WrestleMania 15. They were in Philly. He came out and he was like, "If you don't mind, Malik, if you don't mind,
please."
You come out here and you spit your little talk about how The Rock comes out and spits his little nursery rhymes. Well, The Rock has a little nursery rhyme for you, Stone Cold, and it goes like this. Mary had a little lamb. I'll tell you what, piss on the lamb, piss on Mary, and piss on you.
No, he was definitely the funniest. He was the funniest wrestler.
He's the most entertaining wrestler of all time.
He killed me. He literally had me crying.
So The Rock, my favorite catchphrase, anything that came out of The Rock's mouth as it relate, I'll give you like 3 of them. Rudy Poo, obviously, if you smell, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the it doesn't matter is the
Mine is The Rock one too. Mine is know your role, shut your mouth. That's a great one. Anything that's why to me, The Rock is not only the best on the mic, but he's the most entertaining superstar ever, bro. This guy.
And know your role is pretty awesome, by the way.
You put a mic in his hand, bro. Everybody's listening.
Facts.
That's the bottom line.
I think I will. I'll probably say it doesn't matter. I'll probably say it doesn't matter because of the way Mick Foley flipped it on him. That was a good one.
That was good.
I love that one too. I love for some reason too, man. I don't know if it really was a catchphrase, but he did it for a little bit too. I love when Jericho was calling people hypocrites. When he called all you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite.
No. If we're gonna say Jericho, his greatest catchphrase is "stupid idiot" and "it."
Mine was hypocrite. Mine was hypocrite. Mainly because I was.
You just made the list.
I went to a. This is how much like he had back in the day. No way. This is why 08 Jericho is the best Jericho ever to me. I went to a show when he was the world champ. Yeah, it definitely is. This is why I went to a show in 08 when he was the world champ. Like maybe 2 weeks before he was gonna face Shawn Michaels in the ladder match the one they had at No Mercy. And this was I don't know if you guys remember, this was the episode on Raw when he came out and he was on top of the ladder, like it was like beginning of the show and everything. And we were there, bro, and he was cutting a promo, and people, like, my grandma was sitting next to me, bro. She hated Jericho so much. She started calling people hypocrites, and she was like, somebody come out and beat this guy's ass right now, bro. I was like, this is the greatest Jericho ever. This guy is the greatest Jericho ever, bro. This guy had so much heel heat, bro. It was legit. His character was on another level of savagery, bro. He come out in the suit and ties.
That was after the Gerotron. When he tossed HBK through it. Yeah.
Yes, that was the first one. That was a hard run. We talked about. I think we talked about in the last podcast about some people not reaching their edge till certain years. That's the first year I ever took Jericho seriously as a main eventer. That year he sold me on this guy is a legit star because not only of his heel work, but the legit heat he was able to get, bro. I'll never forget, bro. Like I said, my grandma doesn't even watch wrestling, bro. But the 2 times that ever saw her on wrestling, well, there's actually 3 times. Okay, 4 times. Actually, 4 times. She hated Cody Rhodes when he was dashing Cody Rhodes because she was like, this guy thinks he looks good and he's so ugly. Like, why? I don't understand. And he came out.
Big shout out to your grandma, bro.
She hated when he came out with the clear match because he used to try to. It was to hide his face. She was like, this fucking guy. You can still see his face. I don't understand it. Like she hated him so much.
I said the same thing.
She hated him so much. And she hated Randy Orton 09 when he was kicking people in the head. She couldn't stand Randy Orton. She was like, bro.
Not everyone.
I loved Randy Orton 09. He was great, but she couldn't stand, bro. When he was kicking people in the head and everything, she hated him.
Work.
And 2008 Jericho, we went to it. She brought me to. I begged her to buy. I was like, Mama, you know, WWE's coming to town. Got to get me some tickets, right? We had great seats, bro. I'm talking about. We were the seat right before the floor seats. We were the section like right before the floor seats. Nice. So we had great seats, bro. And I'll never forget. Jericho starts to show off because she already hates Jericho. So Jericho comes out. She's like, oh, fuck this guy. No, this guy's coming out first. Comes out in the suit and tie. He's walking down to the ring. He starts cutting the promo. And legit, bro, we're in the crowd. And he starts cutting the promo, starts calling people hypocrites. And she said, somebody come out and beat this guy's ass right now, bro. She could not stand him, bro. She probably hated Jericho more than anybody. And this is when he was feuding with Shawn Leslie. This is maybe 2 weeks before they had him and Shawn had the ladder match at No Mercy. She hated Jericho so much. And the other time that sold her a wrestling fan too, this is the greatest match I've ever seen in my life. She ordered WrestleMania 25 for me, and we watched Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. She watched the whole show with me, the entire show with me. She didn't really watch wrestling, but she watched it, and
she watched it because she loves you. That's why.
She watched it. She watched it because she loved me. But we watched the whole show, and we watched Jericho. I mean, we watched Shawn Michaels versus Taker, and after that match, she looked at me and said that was a great match. Don't even watch wrestling, but that match. That's why that's the greatest match I've ever seen, bro. Because that match right there, bro. If that sold my grandma who don't watch wrestling, just imagine people all around the world. That's why I would say if anybody ever never watched wrestling, there's the one match I'm going to show you right here. Go watch that match. The build up and everything. The promo package will tell you about the build up and everything. Just go watch the promo package and the build up. The absolute great match. But those three in general, bro. She couldn't stand Cody. She couldn't stand Jericho. Even if I bring up Randy Orton today, bro, I could show you. I could pull up a picture of Randy Orton, and she'll be like, "Oh, that guy, there's fucking Randy Orton."
I remember. No. But like, I remember you were showing a bunch of wrestlers because you sent us this video. You showed her a bunch of wrestlers a few months ago. As soon as Randy Orton, the dumbass Randy Orton.
Yeah, she hates Randy. Jericho Orton and Cody Rhodes, bro. She can't stand them. Is
your grandma still with us or?
Yeah, she's still alive. She's still alive. Yeah,
shout out to your. Tell her that Sean Hubbard says she's awesome for that story you just told.
You want to know her favorite? You want to know her favorite wrestler of all time?
Who's that?
Oh.
John Cena.
Ah. Well,
John Cena,
because he's such a good guy, and he announces his cash-ins before, like
John Cena and
now you
John
understand.
John Cena and Batista. John Cena and I think John Cena and The Rock or two favorites.
Your grandma likes John Cena. I'll take a second look and see if I've made some mistakes in my life.
No, she loves John Cena. She loves John Cena. She likes John Cena because of his looks.
Maybe I've made some mistakes in my fandom. Maybe I need to take a second look because if grandma likes something, maybe I need to,
Makes it even better. It makes it even better for you guys.
Definitely top 10.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story, Malik.
Who's your guys' favorite heel of all time? Favorite heel.
Oh, can I ask one quick question real quick? Favorite one word catchphrase in history.
Ooh.
One word catchphrase.
Please don't say what.
No, I know.
When it starts with a W.
What is yours? What is yours, Sean? What is yours?
Woo. That's technically not a word.
Well, it works for me. It's a word in my book. In the wrestling community, it's a word.
That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. I'm gonna say woo.
Woo. What? Are there any more?
Well, the New Day says who.
Hey, you know what? You know what I really like? I like Eli Drake. Yeah.
That's a good one.
But I don't want to favorite.
I'm gonna say woo. I'm gonna say woo.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna say woo. Those are mine. If you guys can't think on, we'll just move on to favorite heel.
I'll come back to it.
Favorite heel.
Who's your favorite heel of all time?
Only one. We just did a draft on this.
It's so easy to say Ric Flair. I want to think outside the box.
Only one. You only pick one person. Okay, say this. I'll give you this. Tell me who you think the best heel ever is, but your favorite. Who's your favorite? So 2 3 1.
Okay, the best heel to ever do it is Ric Flair.
Okay.
I'll go with, as far as one of my favorites, I'll go with Alliance Stone Cold Steve Austin. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed the Austin Appreciation Night. He added a lot of humor to it. I enjoyed the backstage skits with Angle. I enjoyed when he beat the crap out of Taz. I enjoyed when he beat the crap out of Michael Cole.
Yeah. Alliance Austin was pretty. The Kurt Angle stuff was great.
I'll go Alliance. I'll go 2001 Austin.
Okay, so I'll make it a 3-part question. Name favorite. Okay, so Sean, you already announced 2 of them. So your best heel ever, your favorite heel, and the one heel you hated as a kid. The one heel that you couldn't stand as a child.
All right, so Flair, Austin, Flair, greatest, Austin, favorite, Austin 01, favorite. The one I hated as a child, I guess Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter, okay. I thought you were gonna say Ted DiBiase. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I actually like Ted DiBiase.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say favorite. I don't want to keep saying Hollywood Rock because that's too easy. My favorite heel of all time.
That's your favorite. Hollywood Rock was a good heel. So
like I said, Ric Flair was easy for me, but then Malik changed the rules. So if Rock is your favorite, then Rock is your favorite.
I'm gonna say Hollywood Rock is my favorite heel. Favorite, the best heel ever. I'm not gonna say Flair. That's too easy. I'm gonna say Vince McMahon. And the one I hate as a kid, come on, Malik. This is a double. It's 2. Edge and Randy Orton. Who do I hate more, Randy Orton, as a kid?
About you, Mountie?
Well, I have 2. I thought long and hard, and I have 2 catchphrases that are one word that I'd like to bring to the table and see what you guys thought. The first one is damn.
Okay.
That's a good one. Always made me laugh.
That was a good
100%. One. Yes. And I just had the other one.
Imagine getting paid to come to TV to say one word. How great is that?
Like that's an easy check to me.
I forgot the other one. I'm gonna have to think about it again.
You forgot the other one? Damn. Yeah. Damn, you forgot the other one?
Okay. I had it. Hey, wait, give me 2 seconds. It was hold on. Okay. I got it. It was it originated in the maybe very, very late 80s, early 90s, and it's
I like that.
Loved it, man.
Nice.
Those 2 have got they always put me in a good mood. They always made me laugh. So I'm gonna go with those 2. What was the other the questions here? Favorite? Okay, so best heel. I gotta go with Ric Flair. As best heel, he was awesome. He was awesome. Favorite heel. I'm gonna go with Ravishing Rick Rude.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was solid. And one that I hated as a kid. Nice one, Kyron. Fuck, man, you got some moves, kid. I like it. One that I hated as a kid is there was a lot of them, but one that I really despised for some reason was IRS. I don't know. You just drove me nuts.
It's a random answer. I thought it was going to
be a random answer, but dude, he come out, he starts telling people to pay taxes and shit. I was like, somebody, I was kind of like your grandma. Somebody come out here and kick the shit out of this guy.
Yeah. Nice. So the best heel ever to me is Vince McMahon. My favorite heel is Ric Flair back in the 80s.
Vince McMahon is probably the best, yeah.
And then the one heel I hated as a kid definitely was Edge, bro. I don't think I despise anybody more than that man. Especially 06, bro, coming after Cena. Oh, that was my blood was. That's another quick story. So, but this is probably the first. You know how as when you're a kid, you don't really understand wrestling to an extent. You just watch wrestling because you like it. You don't really get it. But this was the first. As a kid, we all had moments in wrestling where we got pissed off because we felt some type of emotion. Maybe our favorite wrestler lost in a match. You know what I mean? So we were all mad and upset. Every kid goes through it, right? The first time I ever was legit probably so pissed at wrestling for the first time in my life was SummerSlam 2006 when John Cena was facing Edge. It's at John Cena's hometown. I'm like, bro, I had to watch him. Like, bro, John Cena's winning the belt back. He's not going to lose in his hometown. Of course, he's getting it back. It's when I'm 2006. I was probably like maybe 8 years old, and I hated Edge. Edge was always cheating. I'm like, bro, Cena's getting it back. He's coming for Edge. I'm tired of this guy, Edge. He's getting it back. Right? And I'll never forget the finish. It's a brilliant finish, amazing finish. Now, but looking back as a kid, bro, it hurt my soul. It's when Cena had Edge in the STF. Referee gets distracted, and Lita hands the brass knucks to Edge, right? So the ref doesn't see the brass knucks, which is crazy. That's a weapon they don't even use in wrestling anymore, too. Brass knucks, that's a throwback.
They don't.
So
didn't Lacey Evans use something the other day? And I don't know, like Flair gave it to her, and then like she didn't really use it. But anyways, I saw something was going on.
So Cena, Edge has the brass knucks on his hand, and he picks up Edge for the FU, and he picks up Lita for the FU, and flips over Lita, right? So the ref's now distracted by Lita, and Edge falls off his back, and Cena's back's turned, and he smacks Cena with the brass knucks right in the back of the head. Ref doesn't see it, right? Ref has no idea what happens, right? So as a kid, I'm like, bro, there's no fucking way that this man is about to cheat and win. I think Cena's gonna kick out, right? I'm like, he's gonna kick out. 1, 2, 3, he wins. Bro, 8-year-old me couldn't believe it. I don't think I've ever was enraged in my entire life as a child, bro. Had to go to school the next day. I went to sleep in a bad mood. Went to school in a bad mood. People trying to talk to me. Like, don't talk to me right now. I don't talk to anybody. John Cena the champ. I was so upset, bro. That was the first. That moment right there. I hated Edge. I forever hated Edge for a period of time for that moment in general because Edge was such a good heel. Did his job perfectly, but like at that time, bro. I honestly was sick to my stomach. I thought I was gonna vomit. That's how pissed off I was, bro.
You love Cena so much.
I was
it's so. He's not over that. He's not over that situation.
My favorite wrestler. I love Edge. Edge is great now. I love Edge now. I as I got older, Edge was so great. I was like, oh, he's just fantastic. But at 2006, I was 8, so I was like, bro, Cena was he was my childhood idol. I wanted to be just like him, bro. I was like, come on now. Like, I was so enraged, bro. I could not stand Edge, bro, as a kid. By the time Cena started feuding with Orton, I was starting to get a little older. So Orton was a great heel, but it didn't bother me much as Edge. Edge was on a different level, bro. Like the way you felt about IRS, the way you felt about Randy Orton, the way you felt about Sergeant Slaughter, that's how I felt about Edge. I couldn't stand him at one point. If I was,
I had the same feeling. I had the same feel toward Edge. I was 6 at the time, so if you were 8 and you hated him, I think I was a 6-year-old.
Yeah, too. Yeah, so Edge was up there, man. Edge was up there. If I was in the crowd that night, I would believe me. I'd jump the barricade that night. I was coming for Edge. I was coming for Edge's soul that night.
That would have been an iconic moment. Hey, you remember that kid that jumped the barricade at SummerSlam 06 when Edge won? Yeah, that was me.
That was me right there, man. That was me. All right, now we're gonna do a little fast pace. Remember, I said pick a star. So pick a star. So this is a little thing I came up with, a little random thing. Pick a star, 13 random people right here. Basically, 2 superstars are going to come to the board, male and females, because verify. And you're just going to pick who you prefer. You're going to pick some of them may be harder than others. Some of them may be easier than others for you guys. I try to mix them up to make it a little difficult. But, everybody has different preferences on who they like. So, some of them may be easier than them. Some of them may be like, oh, I like this guy easy more than that guy. So I try to make it a little harder than it was. But first one we got up, CM Punk or Randy Orton? So basically, look at it. If you had a roster, who you taking? Not who you like more, but who you taking?
God, that's hard.
That is hard because
I want him back so much. I'll say CM Punk, and I love Randy Orton, but because I want him back so much, I'll say CM Punk.
So based off, you could base it off of who you like more and who you would want on your roster. So
okay, I'm going to say Randy Orton. For obvious reasons, I'm biased, but
I'm surprised.
When it really comes down to it, let's face it, both of them are somewhat controversial at times. They do things that are against the grain, are against policy, but Randy Orton always stuck through everything. And if I'm going to start a company, I need a guy that's going to do that and not leave because he doesn't. Because he's not happy and he's fed up. I need somebody that's going to be there through the thick and thin. Not a shot at CM Punk. I understand why he did that. I'm just saying, in this particular case, I'm going with Randy Orton because of that.
I'm going to go CM Punk because I feel like he can play a character, both face and heel. Well, not heel better than Orton, but he can be a face better than Orton. He's better on the mic objectively. I'm gonna go Punk. Even though Matt, you did bring up a good point about who you can trust more. I gave you that.
That's true too. I'm gonna say CM Punk too. I'm gonna go with CM Punk. Love Randy Orton. Number one, I always like CM Punk more than Randy Orton. And I don't know, maybe it's kind of I like CM Punk more. I guess that's based off why.
CM Punk's the man, bro. I love him. That's why I was like, fuck, it don't make me choose between these two.
Yeah, that's true. Triple H or John Cena? Who are you taking?
John Cena, obviously.
I'm taking John Cena. So
I'm taking Triple H. That's pretty obvious.
Triple H. We talked about heels too. We never mentioned Triple H, one of the best. We talk about favorite heels.
He was one of the best heels. God, he's so well. I'm taking Triple H because I know that he can play both sides of the coin exceptionally well. He could be that over-the-top face, good guy with DX, or even just by himself, that badass fan favorite, or one of the best heels, like you said, in the game. So I'm going with Triple H.
Yeah, he could be a good face. I didn't like his face runs like later in the years, but DX-wise, his face runs were hilarious.
Yeah.
He's another guy, who always he kind of, if you look at it, he kind of did some edgy stuff too. He would say some crazy shit that you kind of like, did people say that? You know what I mean? So,
well, when he came back after his knee injury, there, I mean, he was super over, man. Like,
yeah.
God, like, and he was like massive face at that point.
This one I know for Mount. This one's an easy one for me. I think for me and Kyron, but for Mount and Sean, it's probably gonna be tough. Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan?
Damn. Fuck. You know what? Despite my personal feel, I'm actually going to say Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan. I just like him more. It's hard. They're both on my Rushmore, but
I'm saying Ric Flair.
You're talking to 34-year-olds, not 8-year-olds. And for that reason, I'm going to go Ric Flair.
Respect it. I'm going to say Ric Flair, too. He's the greatest ever in my eyes, so.
Hogan.
I mean, star power-wise, Hogan, obviously. Hogan got him beat as far as star power-wise, but Flair's a better wrestler. Flair's better on the mic to me, too, so better character, too. I got to go with Ric Flair.
That was difficult, but I go Ric Flair in a close one.
Super hard.
This one might be difficult, too. Macho Man or Bret the Hitman Hart?
That's not hard for me.
Macho Man.
Yes.
I'm going Savage.
It's more hard for Melty.
Mm-hmm. I can tell.
You know it's hard for Melty.
You know who you want to choose, Melty. Go ahead and say it.
Well, you know who you want to choose. Just
while Melty contemplates, I just want to say Bret Hart, one of the greatest ever technically, but I'll take Macho Man and his charisma and his swagger and Miss Elizabeth over the excellence of execution.
Same, Sean. Everything you just said, I agree.
What is the point of this again? Is it who we like more or who?
It could based on how you want, who you like more, who you take on your roster. It's all of the above. So I mean, I would say in ring wise, Bret Hart was better to me, but charisma and promo wise, I mean, obviously Macho Man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going with Bret Hart. That's a fucking hard one, man.
I'm gonna take Bret Hart too.
Oh,
it's by like an eyelash though, like
charisma wise.
Yes, of course.
The question is, if I get Miss Elizabeth, I'm definitely taking Macho Man because those two together are still like.
Bret,
you gotta take her.
But bro, Bret was good enough that he was so good at everything else that he didn't. Dare I say it? He didn't really need that charisma for some reason. He was able to get by without it. I found.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When you're devoid of charisma, you're devoid of 70% of what you need to be successful.
What do you mean?
I would say, hold on. I gotta think about this.
Bret Hart overcame lackluster charisma, but
even though I didn't have
that was through the roof, and he was probably if Bret was a 10 in the ring,
Right. I would give him a 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna say even though I didn't have Macho Man, in my top 10 because I had other people in there. I changed my pick though. I'm going with Randy Savage. I'm gonna say Randy Savage.
I'm the only one. Like
charisma in ring wise, and Miss Elizabeth added on to that. It's just,
but for some reason,
wrestling. I'll just watch wrestling just to figure out who is Macho Man pointing at. Every fight, he's pointing at. He's pointing at.
But you know my favorite thing. You know my favorite thing about Randy Savage.
Like he's looking all around, all over the place. Like
that's my favorite. That's my favorite thing about Randy Savage. If you ever notice, I just rewatched.
Even though that was amazing.
He's excited for no reason. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What? You Mean Gene didn't even ask you a question yet. What are you talking about?"
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because I just rewatched the Mega Power storyline and the match with Hogan at WrestleMania, and I just rewatched the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth wedding because I had to do a video on it. And my favorite thing about Randy Savage is it's the funniest thing ever to me too. I'm glad Sean brought that up because I thought I was the only one who always noticed that shit, bro. My favorite thing is that he's getting married to Miss Elizabeth, and they're doing the vows and everything. And of course, he asked the Macho Man if you want to take Miss Elizabeth to be your bride. And as soon as he asked him that, he starts looking around to the crowd. Just like, what are you looking at, bro? Like,
the camera's over here. The camera's over here, Macho Man. Yeah. You like, who are you pointing at, Macho?
But he does it. It's good though because he does it for fan interaction. Because one of the best things ever was the reuniting with Miss Elizabeth at WrestleMania. And the best part is when you're looking at the crowd because the crowd's going crazy. What should I do? That's one of my favorite things about Randy Savage.
He brings a creamer from the diner and says, "I'm the cream of the crop." Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but it's awesome.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Shawn Michaels or the Undertaker? Who are you taking?
Oh my God.
Well, Shawn, we know who Shawn's gonna pick.
Come across disrespectful though. Why would you give me Undertaker against anybody else?
I'm taking Undertaker. I'll say that right now. I'm taking Undertaker.
I'm picking HBK. No disrespect.
I'll take the Undertaker. I'll take the Undertaker. Longevity, even though he stuck around too long, longevity character wise, I'll take Undertaker. Even though Shawn is the better worker and better on the mic too.
Yeah, I'm going with Undertaker. He was the most professional one over HBK. So going back to my point with Orton and everything, it's for me, it's Undertaker or bust.
God, I respect the Undertaker, and I swear if I met him, I would give him a hug if he would allow me to and say thank you. But HBK is the greatest of all time.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero or Kurt Angle?
No. This is the hard one for me.
Eddie Guerrero or Kurt Angle? This is an easy one for me. It's Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie G.
Mainly because I'll say, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Eddie Guerrero is my top 3 favorite wrestlers ever. Nice. It's John Cena, Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero. So, I don't know if you guys have told you this too. Before, even though John Cena my favorite wrestler of all time, John Cena wasn't my first favorite wrestler. Eddie Guerrero was my first favorite wrestler. He was the first. He was the wrestler that got me into it from the start. So,
I will pick your first favorite wrestler in this matchup against Kurt Angle.
I'm gonna pick Kurt Angle because if Cena's my number 1 favorite wrestler, Kurt Angle will be number 2. So I'm gonna say Kurt Angle. I think, and it's so hard because they both.
God, it's tough.
So they're both so complete. They both are great in-ring technicians. They both know how to be good high flyers. They're both great heels and great babyface. Both hilarious. I'm just gonna lean toward Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle just by this much.
I'm going Eddie by
a smidge.
I'm going Eddie Guerrero too.
Me too, Eddie Guerrero.
This was the hardest one. This is the closest to me so far.
Daniel Bryan or AJ Styles? Who you guys taking?
Oh, this isn't. I'm gonna say, and I told you this. I'm gonna say Daniel Bryan because I feel like if you want I think as an all-around performer, D. Bryan to me is a stronger character, better on the mic, and in-ring wise, I lean toward AJ, but just slightly. But if you want the all-around experience, I'll take D. Bryan.
Yeah, this is kind of similar to the Macho Man Bret Hart debate, which now I'm looking back and I'm like, man, I probably should have took Macho just based on, Bret Hart edged Macho from a in ring standpoint, but charisma, it was night and day. And thankfully, Bret Hart was in that era where the charisma wasn't a big factor, because if let's be honest, if Bret Hart was now, he would just be labeled like a Cesaro or something. You know what I mean? Maybe bad example, but either way, you get
I don't think AJ's charisma is bad. It's not better than Daniel Bryan's. Daniel Bryan by far has more charisma. I think AJ is by far better in the ring to me.
Right.
By far is a little bit of a stretch. That's
by far. He's on the Mount Rushmore of greatest in-ring performers ever in my book. So,
but
they named. Hold up. Here's one thing you got to get Daniel Bryan. As much as I don't like talking about the Wrestling Observer, that best technical wrestler of the year award was named after Daniel Bryan. Well, Bryan Danielson, but
Bryan Danielson. I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler, but AJ, he's just better.
I would lean toward AJ in the ring, but just barely.
I'm gonna go with Daniel Bryan overall package, like Kyron said. I think
I'm
going with AJ Styles.
I consider Shawn Michaels the greatest in-ring performer to ever live, and I consider AJ Styles to be the second greatest in-ring performer to ever live. But Daniel Bryan gives me something to cheer for as it relates to crowd participation and charisma.
Yeah.
If you're gonna call I'd call AJ Styles a perfect 10 in the ring as it relates to in-ring performance. But I also call him about a 7, entertainment wise. Meanwhile, Daniel's probably an 8.5 or 9 in the ring, and on a scale of 1 to 10 entertainment wise, Daniel Bryan is an 11. So I'm gonna go with Daniel Bryan.
I can say that there was times where I was like going against AJ Styles to like not to lose. And I can honestly say the only time that I wasn't going for Daniel Bryan in a match, basically maybe not going for him, but like I wouldn't have been upset if he won, was when he faced Kofi Kingston. I was
That's the only time.
That's the only time that I would have been okay with Daniel Bryan losing, if that makes sense, Like AJ winning, I thought I was upset about it, but I was like, like his face run was great, don't get me wrong, but there were still moments where I was like, I kind of wanted to see him lose. And I did not have that at all, except for that one time with Kofi Kingston. That's it.
And I think that's the reason why Daniel Bryan wins out. Think about it. At WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan won the WWE Championship. Everyone was happy. Now, fast forward 5 years, he's turned heel. Such a good heel, and also because Kofi's momentum. But he was such a good heel that fans wanted him to lose at WrestleMania for the WWE title. Would you ever imagine that happening like that?
It took literally a Kofi Kingston movement to get me to turn on Daniel. It took literally like a movement to turn me against Daniel Bryan. That's how good Daniel Bryan is.
A movement larger than wrestling.
Exactly. You know what?
I love that.
Well said, Mountie. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Next one, Batista or Edge? Who are you taking?
I'm just glad Sean agreed with me with something tonight.
Me and you have never disagreed this much. Never.
No,
that's true.
It's all good though. It's all good.
Batista or Edge? Who you taking?
This is easy for me. I'm going Edge.
Edge.
I'm going with Edge too.
No disrespect. I love Batista.
I'm saying he had Batista to this day still has one of the greatest lines any ever said. When he told John Cena, all you do is wait, I gotta say like kissing babies, hugging fat girls. That will always be one of my favorite lines of all time.
That was pretty good.
Hill Batista was good too,
you gotta say it. You gotta say it the way Batista kissing babies, hugging fat girls. You can't. You gotta say it the way Batista said.
I love from 2000 and from 2005, 2008. Batista was one of my favorites. I mean, going up in the day, he's one of my favorites. So I love Batista.
Yeah,
but Edge was. I think Edge is slightly a little bit better on the mic.
Yeah. He edges him.
Yeah.
Edge proved to me how good he is when he overcame. For all intents and purposes, nobody should have ever cheered Edge again after what he did to Matt Hardy. But somehow it took a while, but somehow we were able to see past that. And even as I remember it, it makes my blood boil that he would do that to his boy. But like Edge is so good that we were able to overcome that.
Yeah.
And it made Edge a lot better as a heel wise because not only did you hate him legitimately, but after that he had one of the best heel runs ever. From that point, he stole the WWE title from Cena, then had a great run in 06, and then he did stole the title from Taker the next year. You know what I mean? So it's like he had incredible main event at WrestleMania with Taker too. So I mean, he was. I would say Batista. I would say Edge just by much though. I love Batista.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Sasha Banks or Becky Lynch? Who you taking?
This is easy for me. This is easy for me too. Go ahead, Kyron.
Go ahead, Sean. No, Sean, you go first.
I'll start. I'll say this. I love Becky Lynch, but it's Sasha Banks all day for me. I'm taking Sasha.
Same. I think this is a question. If you asked me at different points, I would have given you a different answer. Like you asked me in 2018, I would have said Becky Lynch, but especially because she's off, she's not here anymore. Sasha, with her momentum with being on the Mandalorian, I would say Sasha. But this is the type of question. If you asked me in 2018, I'd say Becky. 17 debatable, 16 Sasha, 15 Sasha. But right now, I would say Sasha Banks.
Well, what you just broke down, Karen, is the reason why I would have always said Sasha, and I'm still going to say Sasha. Spoiler alert: Sasha Banks is my answer. Becky Lynch was my favorite professional wrestler, period, male or female, from SummerSlam 18 through WrestleMania. No question about that. But if you think about it, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, those 8 months are all I remember about Becky Lynch. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying that to be real. Those 8 months define Becky Lynch's career. Those 8 months, and those 8 months are going to get her into the Hall of Fame. But when I think about Sasha Banks, I think about Takeover Brooklyn. I think about her call up. I think about her women's titles. I think about her being the first tag champ. Sasha Banks.
NXT, main event with Bayley. I mean, it was one of its kind. Arguably one of the best women's matches we've seen, and we've seen some amazing ones since. Look, it's been a landslide, but it's not an easy question by any means. Especially since, as much as Sasha Banks has done, it's one of those questions is what more can she do? Whereas Becky Lynch, because she's just came up on fire in the last few years, this is where it kind of leaves an open door for me, and I'm curious on which one I would like to go with. I feel like there's a lot more for her to do. I feel like out of the two of them, who can have the most amount of success trying out something new, such as like Jericho. You know how Jericho always evolves his character? I feel like Becky Lynch is that type of person that can evolve her character if given the opportunity, and I think it would work. Kind of like a female Jericho over the years, whereas I don't know if Sasha has the ability to do that. So I'm going against the grain. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I'm going with Becky Lynch for that reason. I feel like she could do that.
I respect it. And I also want to elaborate a little bit more on what I said about 8 months. If you can pull off a Hall of Fame resume in 8 months, more power to you. And that's what
Think about.
Becky Lynch went from the 4th best horsewoman.
Yeah.
And probably if at the time, Malik, Mountie, Kyron, at the time, we probably would have given Alexa Bliss the nod over Becky Lynch. There's so many people we would have given the nod to over Becky Lynch. Then in an 8-month span, she created a Hall of Fame career for herself. More power to her. But to me, it's only 8 months.
That's what I feel like. I feel like there's so much more to come. Sorry, Kyron. There's so much more to come for her career, whereas Sasha has been the boss all this time. And that's all okay. That's all good. The same argument could be said for Charlotte, with the woo and the queen and this and that. That's who she is. So can you elaborate more on that? We'll see. Can she change the gimmick? Maybe. But I feel like Becky will be able, hopefully, they should be doing that with her and evolving her character and not just call her the man for the next 10 years. You can refer to it once in a while, but like let's move on a bit, because let's be honest, it's like Chris Jericho, right? When he left, WWF, if they ever brought him back, he was like, I'm never doing the fucking list. No, the list gimmick again. The list gimmick was good for the time, but I would never go back to it. And I was like, that's huge. That's huge that the guy that actually did it and it was super over and everything, and everybody would want to see it that one more time, is not going to do it. And so that's why I think that's why I picked Becky. And it's funny because on TikTok and whatever, I also said that she's one of the ones that's the most overrated. The reason why I said that is partially because of the way that they booked her, not those first 4 or 5 months, but more in the last couple, where I was like, and let's see where that goes. But when she comes back, do the man for a little bit, but then keep it fresh, switch it up. Let's go. Give us something else. I feel like you could do that with Becky, and we'll see if that happens.
All right. Next one.
Yeah.
Trish or Lita?
Lita.
Trish.
Lita.
Lita.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna get outnumbered on that one. I knew I was gonna get outnumbered on that.
Next one. Charlotte Flair or AJ Lee? Who are you taking?
Charlotte. And you spelled it wrong.
This is hard for me because I
don't disrespect the queen, Malik.
I want to say AJ Lee for obvious reasons. Charlotte comes back. I mean, if AJ came back, I should say it would be huge. But come on, man! Like this comparison is almost too easy. It's almost funny to me because AJ Lee is super dope, but AJ Lee is not on Charlotte's level.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm not even a huge. I don't hate Charlotte. I don't even dislike her, but I'm not a huge Charlotte fan. But even I would say Charlotte over AJ. Even though I would give AJ the nod over on the mic, but I would say Charlotte.
Yo. And anybody in my opinion, I think a lot of people go to AJ in this conversation just because they simply just don't get Charlotte. That's all. They're just it could be fucking Eugene there, and they're gonna pick Eugene.
Yes, Mountie, but also because like we haven't seen AJ in a while, and you miss what you don't have. Like somebody might even take people who might take Ronda Rousey over Charlotte Flair because they miss Ronda. Oh, we wish Ronda came back. But if you look at Charlotte's resume, it's no comparison.
Very good point, brother. Very good point.
Yeah. I think a lot of it also has to do with AJ Lee left probably in the prime of her career too. I mean, she left right before the women's evolution really started too. I mean, she was she had a big part. She was doing great stuff because she was the most over female in the division for quite some time when the division wasn't really even that hot. And then she left right before everything really took off. You know what I mean? Right before Charlotte came up and everybody else came up. So she really didn't get to accomplish much more than she would have accomplished, I believe, at that time because she left right in that peak of time. So I think that's another reason that has to do with it too, because
she didn't have the best opponents either, right? That was one thing.
That's why
the division wasn't. The division really was the only other person that was really over at that time was Paige in that division. But the division
tagged him up.
And as far as popularity wise, the Bellas were hot too. But they right before she left, Charlotte came up, Sasha came up, Becky came up, and then the women's evolution started. Everything started, just to spiral with women's wrestling, everything. So
Yep.
So she would have had great matches with like Sasha and Charlotte and all these. Oh God, so many people would have.
Yeah. The reality is if Charlotte was around with AJ Lee's career, it's a no-brainer who would have came out on top. It's a no-brainer, like Sean said. Doesn't matter the era. Charlotte would have killed her. Done.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I disagree with that, but
it's
better in the ring wise. But on the
bro, how many times did she win the title?
That's booking's fault. That's her fault.
Yeah,
AJ only won the title, if I'm not mistaken, twice.
In an era where there was less competition. How does that make her better than Charlotte?
Because both her title reigns were better than any title reign Charlotte ever had.
Well, I'll give it that. That her longest title reign, you can make a case was probably better.
No, I'm no Charlotte fan, but I disagree with that.
What title reign was better than her last title? Than AJ Lee's last title reign she had?
Charlotte's first title reign when she beat Nikki Bella was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Are we counting the Divas title into the women's title, or are we counting?
We're counting
everything. Because it transferred into the women's title. So
we're counting everything. The Divas win against Nikki was almost like a changing of the guard from Divas to
it was.
Then you had the official changing of the guard at WrestleMania 32. Charlotte won that too. Charlotte, literally, I'm saying this in a way, even though I don't agree with what's happening. There's a reason why it happened. Charlotte literally got inserted into the main event of WrestleMania just because she's Charlotte. That's how good she is. Doesn't make it right. I don't agree with it, but because
the competition,
right? Because Charlotte is so damn good, and I hate to be a Charlotte apologist. I hate doing that because I don't like her very much.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Charlotte is so good. They were like, we can't have this main event without Charlotte Flair. Malik, I am no Charlotte fan, but I just AJ Lee has never had a more significant reign than Charlotte.
I think it also came to the fact that she didn't have any real good opponents.
I think her last title run, as far as storyline wise and everything, was better than anything Charlotte done for us for having the championship. Because all her title reigns were just like she had it, and it wasn't like memorable. Like we said, like we talked about with Sasha, with Bayley, or we were talking about title reigns earlier. She had the title so much, but name one memorable title reign. We're like, oh, that was a really good Charlotte championship run that she had. And there isn't one because she either had the belt, she either had the belt for she either had it, for 2 weeks time period, or she just had it just to have it. They just put it on her just to put it on her. And this will knock to Charlotte. She's great.
I don't think AJ really had. Is it fair? Because AJ didn't. She didn't have the level of competition Charlotte had. Let's be honest.
She didn't. That's why I'm saying it was unfortunate she left. I would say this: as far as in ring wise, Charlotte is superior, but on the mic, she can't touch AJ Lee on the mic.
On the mic is AJ. On the mic is AJ.
AJ over Charlotte on the mic.
100%.
I think so.
Not even close.
Charlotte is
jumping on both sides of the fence here, but Charlotte by far is the better in-ring competitor. By far. I'm saying by far.
Yeah, by far in-ring wise. Not even close.
Far is the better in-ring competitor. AJ Lee is better on the mic, but I wouldn't say by far. That's the difference.
Same here. I think it's closer than you think.
No, Charlotte, she's probably if you look at that women's pipe bomb promo, iconic, bro. That shit was iconic when she ripped the entire Total Divas division.
That was super dope. One of my favorite promos ever, but it was one night.
Loved it.
Yeah, but could Charlotte do that though? I don't think she could though. I don't see her pulling something like that.
I got to agree
for
with
sure.
She could.
For sure.
Could Charlotte rip the division to shreds on the microphone if she wanted to? I think she could.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I can't see it.
You wait for this moment. It's gonna happen. You wait.
You know what? I'm so mad because I'm defending Charlotte. It makes me so freaking mad.
To an extent, I'll say
I'm good, bro.
I can't see it. I can't see it. As far as the way she did it, I can't see it. I can't see her doing it.
But technically, hers was a shoot in a way because
right. That's what made it.
Woman's perspective.
That's what made it so good.
Yeah. Vince asked her
the
to
best
be on
female wrestler right now. Yeah, Charlotte Flair. My wife just said it. That's a woman's perspective. It trumps all of you guys because it was just Valentine's Day. We're moving on.
Well, with all due respect to your wife, who, by the way, I think she's a nice lady. Number one, she's nice. Your wife, and I'm sure she's heard you talk about Charlotte many times.
Good point.
Say that again.
And secondly, Flair is probably the most recognizable name in the history of wrestling outside of Hogan.
She knows. She watches. She was like, Charlotte is the one that I give a shit about the most.
Okay, well, let me put it to you like this. Nobody can tell me that Bianca Belair or Sasha...
Oh, she likes her too.
Okay, well, right now, I think Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks are the two most talented female athletes in the company.
I agree 100%, Sean.
I'll give you that. I like that one too. I like that one. All right, next. Asuka or Bayley? Who you taking?
Another hard one.
This is actually a hard one because I think Bayley really came up in it.
Malik's been in the lab. Malik's been in the lab all day. I like it.
It's crazy because this is another question where if you asked me at a different point, I'd have said something different. If you asked me, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I would have easily said Asuka. But Bayley's heel turn and heel run have elevated her to the point where this is actually a tough question to answer. And don't forget,
I'll say
she was.
I've always liked Bayley. Super over-res babyface in NXT. Great heel as well. Asuka, though, in-ring wise, I think she got her beat. In-ring wise, she's one of the best, especially if you saw her stuff back from Japan. She's incredible, especially as far as her character, Kana, when she was in Japan. Super dope. It's tough, though, for me. This is a toss-up, though, because Bayley's my second favorite four-horsewoman behind Sasha. I've always liked Bayley's work. I always appreciate her work, but I always like Asuka too, though, man. I think, as far as main roster wise, I think it's downplayed her as far as main roster wise, because of booking wise, which isn't her fault. What do you guys think? Who'd you guys say?
I'm actually gonna piggyback over. I'm gonna go Bayley, and here's why. If we're going off of NXT, then it's Asuka. I mean, she was a champion for 500 days. But don't forget when Bayley was NXT women's champion, she was the most over person in NXT. And I'm counting people like Finn Balor and Cena, like she was the most over woman person in NXT from at a point. And this is why I'm going to give it to Bayley. On the main roster, especially over the last 2 years, it's clearly been Bayley. I mean, Oscar's been champion since the Raw at the Money in the Bank, and none of us even remember that. Whereas Bayley was champion, especially after she turned heel, for over 500 days and was constantly doing good stuff. And so I'm gonna go, if we're just sticking with WWE, I'm gonna go Bayley for NXT and main roster over Asuka for NXT and main roster.
I am proud to say my answer and yet sad at the same time. I'm proud because I love Bayley, and that's my answer, by the way. I love Bayley, but I'm sad because, to Kyron's point, what WWE has done to Asuka is the reason why Bayley's going to win this one. If Asuka was booked properly, this would not be even a question. But because Asuka has not been booked properly, Bayley has overcome her as it relates to promotion, as it relates to mic skills, as it relates to in-ring capabilities. Like, Asuka's a better in-ring worker, but Bayley tells a better story, if that makes any sense.
I agree. And here's one thing, and let's be honest, Bayley didn't have the best main roster start either to me. I was at Extreme Rules 2017 with that Kendall stick on a pole match with Alexa Bliss. I was there. And the way that match played out, I remember being there and I said, what in the world is this? And I remember she hurt her arm and she got booed in Canada. I'm like, oh my God, this isn't going well. And granted, she started building herself up, but she never had that edge again from NXT. And then when she turned heel, this is where I feel like Bayley, like, she elevated herself. And I remember when she turned heel, I was like, is this even going to work? And I think it took some time to get used to the role. But, I mean, this is how good of a heel Bayley was. Everyone thought when Sasha and Bayley eventually had that main roster feud, Bayley be the face and Sasha be the heel. And it flipped. Bayley was the heel, Sasha was the face. And that Hell in a Cell match was so good because of the story those two told. And I gotta give you that, Sean. You're right. Bayley tells a great in-ring story. She's been good at telling stories since NXT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
who are you going with, Melty? Who are you picking?
Well, both you guys have mentioned some really, really good strong points, and ideally for me, what it comes down to with Bayley is, like Kyron said, you're just telling great stories, amazing. I knew that I was hoping, I should say, that the heel run was going to work. I was hoping for it at that point because everybody wanted it the other way around. And I'm like, they should do it. They should do it where Sasha is the face. And let's see what Bayley has as a heel. So I'm glad that she was versatile and she pulled it off really well. Obviously, what Sean said too about Asuka not being booked properly plays a factor in my decision here. And I totally agree. Where like I think I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Bayley on this one because I've seen both sides. But the only thing I'll say is next time she wants to do a get well Bayley thing, we all know that Randy Orton was the master at it, and he turned into like a cocky heel at that point, and it was just so well done. So if she ever needs to do something like that again as a heel, it would work a little bit better. But regardless, she's just a little bit better at this point than Asuka, and they've kind of made Asuka a little bit of a clown, and I'm not sure if I'm feeling that. I liked her in NXT. I thought she was cool, and I fear, no offense to anything, I feel like hopefully that doesn't happen with like an Io Shirai or something like that. Like I hope, huh?
I said, please don't let that happen to her.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna say Bayley.
I'm worried. I'm
gonna say Bayley. Next one, we got a couple more, then we're done. Next one, Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar? Who you taking?
You know who I'm going to take. You know I'm taking Roman Reigns, especially over the last few months. But even then, I think it just came to the fact that, especially when Lesnar's not motivated, I just don't care about him. Outside his matches with Styles and Bryan and Rollins at SummerSlam, it's hard for me to get invested in Lesnar matches nowadays because his style just doesn't excite me like it used to. The super toss, the suplex just isn't exciting. And with Roman, on the other hand, I'm looking at him like, finally, this is ever since SummerSlam, and I've constantly praised it. This is the Roman Reigns I've been asking for. The Tribal Chief is Tribal Chief Roman Reigns to me is the best thing in WWE at the moment. And it's not even don't look at me like that, Kyrie, because yes, I've been saying that. And these guys can vouch me. I've been saying you like Roman Reigns? Hold on, come over here. No, because you got my guys, just nod your head or give me a thumbs up. Ever since SummerSlam, haven't I constantly said Roman Reigns been the best thing in WWE? Just give a thumbs up if I've been saying that. Thank you, Sean. So this only a person. Mountie. Malik, haven't I said that?
Yeah.
Thank you. So it's not so.
I feel like you're
I thought you were talking to him. Sorry.
No, this is the Roman Reigns who I see can be the face of the company. Whereas Lesnar, I just don't care about his matches anymore. It look like depends on who he's doing now. Like this is why I'm giving Roman a nod here because like I said, he had an incredible match with Styles, incredible match with Daniel Bryan, great match with Rollins at SummerSlam, but the constant suplexes and stuff, and their match, the match the two had at WrestleMania 34 wasn't good, and I blame it on Lesnar. I don't blame that on Reigns. So I'm going to Roman Reigns in this situation.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I used to care a lot more about Brock Lesnar with the here comes the pain and next big thing or next best thing, whatever the hell he was called. I was really feeling that character and how agile and athletic and how fast he was. Like I loved that Brock Lesnar, man. Like his feud with the Undertaker and like just dude, like man, that was some badass shit, bro. Like from debut all the way from there to WrestleMania 20. That was my man, bro. Like I loved him. And now I don't feel quite the same way. I understand that as you get older, you have to adapt, and he has other things that he wants to pursue, and he brought that sort of somewhat, or maybe him and Undertaker brought a little bit of that MMA sort of vibe to WWE. I understand that, and maybe they didn't bring it. I mean, I'm sure there was other people obviously that did it, but you know what I'm saying, right? Shamrock, Lethal Weapon, all that guy. You know what I'm saying? But
right
on a larger main event scale, I guess I'm talking. And I just don't really, I don't really get behind it as much as I did. I still take him very serious as a talent, as an entertainer. And ideally, what I like the most about Brock Lesnar is his unpredictability. I like it when he comes into a match, I'm not sure if he's going to win or lose because that's that dangerous on all levels. So from a kayfabe standpoint and from a backstage like tough guy standpoint, like there's almost no one better. And the fact that he just was higher than Reigns and just was on top of Reigns as well, and got that big win against him when Roman was like trying to be face of the company was huge. So all that to say though, with everything Roman Reigns is doing, and then before that, like who do you want there? It's Roman Reigns. It's not a question. He's gonna give you like 300 days a year. He's gonna be the guy to show up for those podcasts and interviews, and he's your guy. He's your guy. Brock Lesnar is not your guy. He used to be maybe, but he was never really that guy because he was never as personable as Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is that dude, man. He's that guy. He's the best one out there right now in all industries. He's your guy.
Absolutely.
I miss Brock. When Brock comes out, it's must-see TV. When Brock is a surprise, it's must-see TV. When Brock is announced, it's must-see TV. Roman Reigns, however, has revolutionized the industry. Roman Reigns has by far been the most entertaining aspect of WWE television during the pandemic era.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, as much as I wish this pandemic never happened, and I hope it's over very soon. So please forgive me. Anybody who thinks this sounds kind of, I don't mean it like that, okay? The pandemic's awful, all right? The pandemic is the best thing to happen to Roman Reigns. Period. As it relates to character development, the best thing to happen to Roman Reigns was the pandemic because Roman Reigns proves he has chops on the microphone, in ring, outside the ring, storylines. This pandemic era has proven to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that Roman Reigns has chops. And for that reason, not only is Roman Reigns who I pick over Brock Lesnar, I pick Roman Reigns right now over anyone in the industry. outside of maybe Jericho or Kenny Omega?
I've always said, and this is just my opinion, if Brock Lesnar if Brock never left in 2004 and he was just motivated about wrestling as John Cena was, he would have been top 10. He would have been top 10 greatest ever.
Totally.
Top 10
Agreed.
greatest of all time. He has the total package as far as look, in-ring wise, somebody that big, the way he can move, the way he can sell, the way he can do everything. He's just really good, man. And even when he came back, he had a good couple runs for a couple years when he came back in 2012, and he had a good couple runs, with story-wise lines. But now they bring him back and they don't really involve him in any stories. Same with, I think that's why people fall out of love with him. Same with Goldberg. You bring this guy back, but you don't put him in any stories. You just bring him back just to bring him back. Like, what's the story? Goldberg comes back to get a shot. Yeah. Goldberg comes back to get a shot at Drew McIntyre. Why? For what? Just because it's Goldberg, for no reason.
That's it.
Where's the story? When Goldberg came back, when Goldberg first came back to challenge Lesnar, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because there was the Royal Rumble thing, and that was a story there.
And real quick, whoever wrote Goldberg's stuff for his comeback interview against McIntyre doesn't respect the legend. That was the stupidest crap I've ever. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, that didn't make sense at all.
There's no story to tell there. And when Goldberg first came back, like I said, it made sense. Okay, and Brock, last person to face. Okay, Brock wants his revenge. Goldberg wants to prove he's still the man. Squashes Brock. Nobody saw that coming. Okay, sets up another big match for WrestleMania, the Rumble and everything. It all makes sense, right? But when you bring these guys back, there's no story they're telling. And I think that's why a lot of people fall out with Lesnar. They're not telling any stories. When Lesnar first came back, you had the story with Triple H. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Then you had the story after that with CM Punk, the Paul Heyman guy. Okay, that's cool. Then the streak. There's no story to be told there. He's going after the streak, so the streak's there. Then he destroys John Cena. Okay, that makes him even look more dominant now. He looks like a fucking monster. Now he's the champ. Now he goes into WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. And there are stories there to tell. Now he comes back to no story there. And
man.
I'm gonna say Roman Reigns. Not by much though. I love Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar's work can be underappreciated sometimes just because of the way he's booked. But Roman Reigns has been
part of the contract, right?
Literally, Roman Reigns has been the shit for the past months, and I've always, first of all, and I'll say this too. I always said when the Shield was together, I always said Roman Reigns was going to be the breakout star. I never said Seth Rollins. I never said Dean Ambrose. Roman Reigns was always going to be the top guy to me because he had the look, and I knew he has the background from the Samoan Dynasty, and the Samoan Dynasty has been great in pro wrestling, and Vince McMahon has always appreciated and always loved the Samoan wrestlers. And I always knew that he was going to be the guy, mainly because the look. You look at this guy, he looks like a star. I'm like, bro, this guy has the look, man. He has it. In ring wise, he wasn't the best. On the mic, he wasn't the best. Dean Ambrose was the best on the mic, and Seth Rollins was the best in the ring, but they didn't have the look. And I knew Roman Reigns was going to be the breakout star. It just took a matter of time. And he got the main event of WrestleMania. Wasn't even a year before the Shield split before he got the WrestleMania main event. So I already knew that they were going to make a star out of him. So I'm with Kyron. This is the Roman Reigns we always wanted to wait and see. It's not like we hated Roman Reigns. We just hated the way they were booking him. And now he's finally being booked the right way. So Roman Reigns is now he surpassed superstar to me. He's megastar now. If you ask me, he's up there.
Oh yeah,
you hit it. You hit it. It's not that we hated him; we just didn't like the way he was used. And we knew there was something super special underneath.
Roman Reigns on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling for 2021.
Yep,
you'll be there. Couple more. We'll run through some of these. The Fiend or Seth Rollins? Who you like more?
Seth Rollins.
I love Seth Rollins.
Kyron, who you taking?
That's a sample size. You asked me to take a character that's only been around for what, a little over a year and a half.
But you can say Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's been good all around though. Before he was the Fiend too.
I'm gonna say.
Not to cut you off, Kyron. If you say Bray Wyatt, that changes my answer.
Exactly.
Yeah. I said the Fiend now, but Bray Wyatt. Yeah, Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt as a whole, then Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt as a whole, then Bray Wyatt, because you got the swamp stuff, the Firefly Funhouse, the Funhouse stuff. I remember first time I saw it, I thought it was stupid as hell. And now I thought wow, this is really good stuff.
I mean, the Fiend's all a part of that stuff. The Funhouse,
and then when the Fiend comes, then you bring the Fiend into it, and I gotta give it to Bray Wyatt.
Plus, if you look at Bray Wyatt stuff before he was the Fiend, he was extremely good. Before he was the Fiend too. So, but I will say that it's tough for me because number one, Seth Rollins, obviously in ring wise, Seth Rollins is better in the ring. Bray Wyatt by far better on the mic. Bray Wyatt is better talker. But I'll say what really hurts me, and first of all, I love the Messiah gimmick by Seth Rollins. I think the Messiah gimmick is fantastic. I
like it too.
I hope that, and I'm a little worried they're going to change it because they just changed his theme song back to the Burn It Down. I'm a little worried they're going to get rid of the gimmick. I love the Messiah gimmick. It's the first time
they changed the music back. Why did they do that? I don't know.
This is this version of Seth Rollins is the first time I've been invested in Seth Rollins since 2015.
Really?
I do not. I hate babyface Seth Rollins.
Architect. Rollins.
No. I hate. Listen to me.
2018 babyface Rollins Monday night when he's doing an IC championship. That was some good stuff.
Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I hate babyface Seth Rollins. I do not like babyface Seth Rollins. 2018. I don't care. I hate babyface Seth Rollins. He's a way better.
You're saying you're wrong.
He's a way better heel than babyface, and this is the first time I've cared or truly been invested in Seth Rollins since 2015 when he was the WWE champion. I did not care when he was the Intercontinental champion. I did not care for Seth Rollins 2018. He was good, but character-wise, he was boring. His character was boring.
And his quest to chase down Brock Lesnar was corny to me.
Yeah, I think the problem was so stupid.
Sean's understanding where I'm coming from. Character-wise, is the first time I've been invested in Seth Rollins since 2015. Babyface Seth Rollins.
The stuff with Lesnar. No, Sean, I think the stuff with Lesnar was they recycled the same storyline a few months. Like the same stuff that happened in WrestleMania happened leading into SummerSlam. Now, the SummerSlam match was very, very good. I thought they actually recaptured some of lightning with Rollins, but it all was the Fiend stuff.
I'm gonna say it like this: some guys are meant to be baby faces and some are meant to be heels. Seth Rollins is meant to be a heel. He's a way better baby face than a heel.
I agree.
Same with Randy Orton. Randy Orton is not meant to be baby face. He should always be a heel because he's a better heel than a baby face. Seth Rollins is a better heel by far. But I'm gonna take the Fiend though. I'm gonna go with Bray Wyatt. I gotta go with Bray Wyatt. I love Seth Rollins. In ring wise, like I said, Seth Rollins is better. But as far as character wise and charisma, Bray Wyatt can do multiple things and he's just very talented, I think. So I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt. But once again, I hate babyface Seth Rollins. Can't stand babyface Seth Rollins.
We got it. We heard it the first.
If he turns babyface again, I'm going to be so upset. All right, one of the last ones. Mick Foley or Booker T?
Oh.
This is different who I think is better versus who I like more.
Well, I mean, you can mix it up both. You got to mix it between both. I mean, obviously, okay, you break it down on the mic. Mick Foley. I would easily Mick Foley on the mic to me. In ring wise, though, I'd say Booker T. I mean, in ring wise, Booker T was better. But once again, Mick Foley, he could do multiple things, though. Mick Foley played multiple characters that got over very well. Charisma wise, Booker T too though. King Booker. Let me finish.
King Booker was funny as hell.
Booker T also is very good at charisma wise too. King Booker was good, and Booker T could be hilarious when he really wants to too. So I mean,
he definitely one of the top 10 funniest wrestlers to me. I'm gonna
Booker T, man.
I want to go Booker T, but I gotta go Mick Foley. He's just more versatile and more of a legend. Even though I probably wish I liked Booker T a little bit more.
Booker T. Can you dig it, sucker? Spinner Rooney, 5x5, the King Booker character. Man, Mick Foley's a legend. This is gonna sound really dumb. Mick Foley is better historically, but if I was building a roster, I'd pick Booker T.
Same here.
That's a good pick. I'm gonna go with Mick Foley. I love Booker T, but I think Mick Foley is better at doing multiple things. Especially character development, and he's, if I need a fucking hardcore match, Mick Foley's the guy. So come on, Mick, you go out there and
But he didn't have, in my opinion, the same amount of charisma as Booker T.
No,
I think he was a fan favorite. I felt like he lacked charisma.
No, I mean, and if you're talking about in ring wise, yes, but character wise, absolutely not. I mean, character wise,
I don't think Mick Foley lacked charisma. I mean, he was able to play 3 different characters and did it so well.
I mean, 4, if you really count Commissioner Foley too, that got over too.
4 count Commissioner Foley.
I didn't like the commissioner gimmick at all.
What?
No.
Oh, Commissioner Foley was hilarious, man.
Yeah, well, he wasn't. I know why you're saying that, but he wasn't out there with The Rock every night. And when he wasn't out there with The Rock or messing around with Triple H, Mick Foley as commissioner wasn't that memorable.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Like by himself.
The first thing. Hold on. The first thing you think about. Well, I don't want to put thoughts in your brain, but the first thing I think about Commissioner Foley is it doesn't matter how you feel. Yeah, it was awesome. One of the first thing I think of when Shawn Michaels brought him out and when he was a new commissioner and everybody was happy to see him back after he got retired by Triple H. But his interactions backstage, his in-ring, mic work. Okay, he gave Rock a second chance at Fully Loaded after Benoit cheated to get the disqualification victory. Mick Foley as commissioner was not that great, man.
Wait, are you forgetting the brilliant stuff he did with Team X? The stuff he did with Edge, Angle, and Christian. That was hilarious.
I don't know what your definition of brilliant is, but I wouldn't call it that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
I see both points, but I like Commissioner Foley. I thought it was good.
I like Commissioner Foley, but I wouldn't use Commissioner Foley as an argument to say he's better than Booker T.
No, I'm just saying like his Commissioner Foley. I'm saying it got over though. I'm saying it wasn't like
look, Booker T. You give me Booker T. You give me the Spinneroonie. You give me 5x5. You give me King Booker. You give me any. If you give me anything but GI Bro, I'm happy.
Right.
Wait, was he wearing his GI Bro outfit with Bad Bunny?
Which was terrible.
He was.
He was.
I see both points are very good, man. They're both kind of equal, but.
And salute to you, Malik, because that's what makes this debate between Foley and Booker.
I think in-ring wise, Booker T's better, but charisma wise, as far as character wise, Mick Foley definitely. I mean, look at all the characters that he got over. He got many characters over.
Again, much respect to you for putting these two.
I know, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Go.
No, I take back the charisma thing. I think that was the wrong word I was looking for. I knew he was a fan favorite. I felt that. And I know he connected with the fans, so yeah, my argument was bullshit there. There was just I don't know, for some reason he just didn't really connect with me too much, and I guess I don't understand why.
Booker T was so over in 2002.
I was talking about Mick Foley, but yeah, Booker T.
I'm just throwing something out there. Booker T was so over in 2002 that they changed the fact that he and Goldust were supposed to be heels mid-swing.
Yeah, it's true.
Mid-swing.
I didn't even know.
I didn't even know they were supposed to be heels. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know they were supposed to be heels either.
Look back when they first got together. When they first got together, they were booking them up against face tag teams. And then mid-swing, they switched it up.
Yeah, you're right. You are right, because they were booking them against the face. Yeah, you're right. You got a point on that. All right, this is one of the last ones before the last one. RVD or Rey Mysterio? Who you like more? Who you taking more?
Rey Mysterio.
I'll go Mysterio by a smidge.
Mysterio.
I'm going to go Mysterio too by a smidge. I love Rob Van Dam, though. I love RVD.
Of course, we all love Rob Van Dam, but when it comes down to professionalism in and out of the ring, like Rey Mysterio was that guy, bro. He was that fucking guy. When was the last time you heard of him, Rey Mysterio, getting a DUI or some garbage like that? Like he's got in my opinion, I could be wrong. Somebody call me out if I am. He's got a clean record. Yeah. He's got a clean record. He's showing his kid the rope to get into business right now. He's always been very fun and entertaining to watch from a kid standpoint to a teenager standpoint to a adult standpoint. Like Rey Mysterio is a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, and I love the work that he's done in wrestling. And he's one of those guys, bro, that you just got to appreciate him now, because one day he's going to be gone and you're going to be like, fuck, that guy was great.
And in 2021, arguably 25 years after his best work, 24, 23 years after his best work, he's on the verge of another awesome storyline where his son turns on him. He's on the doorstep of being a main event, well, at least high quality storyline guy again 25 years later.
And I hope that it has something to do with like the US title, because there's a lot of lineage with Rey Mysterio, the US title. Man, I mean,
Dominic Mysterio Your father is trying to control you. Turn on him.
Turn on him.
Remember, if you remember.
Throw. You know, what'd be amazing if Dominic picked up his father and threw him like a lawn dart against one of the van. How sick would Kyron? Come on, man! If Dominic picked up his dad and threw him like Kevin Nash did, dude.
You know what he's gonna say when he turns heel on him? If Dominic turns heel on him, I fought for you, son. I fought a custody battle for you, son. What do you mean? Yeah, I love you, son.
Oh, yes.
I fought in a ladder match for you, son. I fought to keep you.
I want to see a ladder match between Dominic and Ray now.
You know something, Dad? You've been trying to control me my whole life. You've always wanted me to do things. I have to use your moves. I wear your T-shirts to the ring. I had to do a remix of your music for my entrance theme. You make me sick, Dad.
You even wanted me to wear the mask, and I'm not putting on the mask. I don't want the mask.
Bro, imagine.
Now what he has to do, he has to come out, and from now on, my name is on Dominic Mysterio, which is Dominic.
You know a pretty good way that I think Ray spoke on this, but I think he said the way he wants to retire is that he wants to do a feud with his son, and he wants his son to beat him for the mask. So Ray unmasks when he loses, and then retires, and then he takes the mask. He takes over the mask as far as.
Imagine that's amazing.
Not bad.
Can you imagine if Dominic looks at the camera one day or to Ray and he says like, "I wish that you didn't win that ladder match for the custody battle." Can you imagine?
You know what he could say?
You would have won that match.
You know what he could say? You know what he could say? Even more than that, he could look at him. He said, "You know what? I wish Eddie was my dad." Just bam! Look at Eddie.
You know right there.
You know what, Dad? August, whatever 2005 was the worst day of my life. When you won that match, it was the worst.
There's so many ways they can do it. Honestly,
Kyron, this is the clip. Tag Ray, tag Dominic, tag everybody, man. Like
you know what could be really cool if they're gonna build it off. They could because honestly, if they want to do it off the mask, they could do it where Dominic wants the mask and Ray the mask is very respectful and heritage. And if Ray's gonna retire and have Dominic beat him in his last match and then lose the mask, as a father, what better way for somebody to end their career? That's you can't write a better story than that. I mean, to put your son over, then to lose the mask, but to pass it on to him, that's just come on now. Like that's greatness right there. So.
Yo,
but I definitely
WWE, you got to pay us if you guys use this.
But story. Definitely, if they do this,
everybody's got a price.
Hold on, if they do this story and they don't mention the custody battle at least once, that I'm going to be upset. How can you not? How can you not go there? How can you not say something? At least something where I wish Eddie was my dad, or I wish you lost the match. You got something. Something has to come up with that.
If I had my way, I would have climbed that ladder myself and given the briefcase straight to Eddie Guerrero.
Oh my God, this is so good. Dominic would be the ultimate heel in wrestling if he did this. Right now.
Are you feeling me right now?
That'd be great. Or I mean, he could do so many things with that. I mean, like, look, Dad. I mean, come on. I know you're good, but you'll never be as good as Eddie. Come on, like.
Okay, he beat you in the WCW wars on the cruiser nights also, and if WCW were to pick a cruiserweight to give him a push, it would have been him and not you.
I don't care how many. Because remember the feud that they had where Eddie couldn't beat Ray. It's like I don't care how many times you beat Eddie. In ring wise, you can never touch Eddie in the ring. He's better career. There's so many things they could do with that, bro. So
Eddie was more of a father to me than you could ever be.
That day, oh my God! You remember the day? You remember? Oh my goodness, bro! Let's start about this, bro. You remember that vignette they did at the playground? That day at the playground, Eddie was more of a dad to me that day than you ever were. He took me to the playground, and you never took me to the playground as a kid, Dad. You never took me anywhere as a kid.
All you ever cared about was Aaliyah. All you ever cared about was Aaliyah.
Oh, Dave, bring her back for too. She was always the favorite. She's always your baby girl.
Oh my, bro! Like
this is too good.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
They could do so many things with that, bro. You could be like, you always looked at her as the favorite. They could even bring the mom. Mom, shut up, Mom. She was your favorite too. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
You brought Aaliyah on SmackDown on her birthday.
Bro, you know what they really could do? See what I really wanted to happen instead of the story they did with Buddy Murphy and everything. They should have had him turn and join Seth Rollins as far as the Messiah.
Yes.
Seth Rollins could have brainwashed him, whatever. He could have just followed him, bro. Could have been Rollins, but he could have been money is right there. You know what I'm saying? Even if you wanted to, even if you're gonna do Aaliyah and Buddy Murphy's boyfriends, you still could have had, maybe Dominic's a little jealous. He didn't like Murphy like that. He could have been mad at Ray for accepting Buddy Murphy into the family. Like, bro, why are you accepting him into the family? I don't understand.
Go with it.
Why are you accepting him? He's not one of us. You can't trust him. Ray's like, you know what? Aaliyah loves him. We're doing it for Aaliyah. We love Aaliyah. Look, what do you mean we're doing it for her? She's not right.
How can I look up to you when you're half my size?
Oh. WWE, please, if you see this, give us.
That's what they can do. That's another thing they can do too. Look, bro, are you sure I'm your dad? I mean, come on. I mean, I'm kind of the same height as Eddie. I mean, you're a little too short to be my dad. I don't know if that's really. I don't know if it's really in the genes.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. This one's kind of random. It may be unanimous, but I want to throw both guys out there to show love. It may be unanimous because I was trying to compare them, and I realized I didn't use these two yet to compare it wise, and I already used everybody else, and it was kind of hard for me to switch. So it's really random. We look at it, it's kind of random, but Andre the Giant or Chris Jericho, man, it's random, very random. But I realized I didn't compare either guys to anybody else on the list so far. So I was like, I'll use them. It's kind of random. I mean, both.
Like Andre the Giant or Big Show, and then Chris Jericho and.
I mean, come on, who's going to take Big Show? But who's taking Big Show?
Big Show is a
landslide.
Pain.
But I really couldn't compare Andre to any of the big guy because I felt like it would be unanimous. Maybe besides Taker.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Maybe besides, like, other than Undertaker, he would probably be the only one. But like, I'm not taking Kane. I mean, if it was '98 Kane for sure, but like over the course of the career, I would say Andre. But I mean, if you look at, obviously Jericho is better, I think, interview-wise, on the mic, all around, but impact-wise, Andre, impact-wise on the business, I think maybe it's a little bit more important than Jericho's. I mean, he did a lot of things impact-wise.
Andre was one half of the biggest main event in WrestleMania history. Debatable if you want, whatever you want to say.
And you got to look at, if you look at back then too, we always talk about, back then, Hogan and Flair were the attractions, but we forget Andre was a major. They would pay this guy just to come do battle royals, just to do simple battle royals, and he just win all the time. It's a battle royal. Andre do a battle royal every week, and he wins. And people pay money just because of how big he was. People were like, "God, my uncle went to see him when he was a kid." He's like, "Bro, you'll never believe how big that guy was in person." Like he saw him, maybe '86, something like that, somewhere around there. But they went to a show, and he was like, "Bro, you'll never understand how big that guy truly was." Because I've seen Big Show in person. He's seen everybody. He's seen Big Show in person, all the guys. He's like, "Bro, you'll never understand how big that guy really was." Because he saw him in person. He's like, "Bro, it's insane, massive, bro." As soon as he comes out, it's just like, "Oh my goodness, like how this guy's huge. Like it's must see." So
I think we all respect Andre the Giant, but come on now, I'm going Chris Jericho.
I'm gonna say Jericho too.
I'm gonna go Jericho also. I'm gonna put a lot of respect on Andre's name. Revolutionary, landmark. Wrestling wouldn't be what it is today without him. But I mean, even if you look back at my previous appearance on your show, I had Andre, I believe, at number 8 or number 9, and I had Jericho top 4. So I'm going Jericho, but Andre's obviously a legend of all legends.
And this answer, honestly, if you think about it, it could have changed a couple years ago too. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for Jericho reinventing himself as he got older, maybe 10 years, maybe in 2010 we would have said Andre the Giant. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Malik, Jericho doing what he's doing right now is part of the reason why Jericho's so high on my list.
What about you, Malty? Who you seem torn?
I am. Because of everything you guys just mentioned and the history. I mean, like he helped elevate Hulk Hogan to heights.
So many ways. I mean, like I said, you think about it. Back to those days, who else could Hogan have beaten at that time to get himself over as he did?
That's it. I mean,
nobody else.
No.
And believable too. Where like I don't know if you guys. I mean, you guys were a little young at the time, so I don't know if you remember. But a lot of people, I'm sure, many people watching wrestling at the time, honestly didn't know if Andre was going to win. Andre was believed enough to beat Hogan back in '87. So it was like, who's going to win this match?
I was one. So obviously I saw it on videotape, but I'm very familiar with the historical significance.
Right.
So
you say Jericho by hair though. Just by hair.
Same here. I mean, like it's only because as awesome as fucking Andre was, legendary, And I say that I don't give a fuck anybody. He's legendary.
Yes,
Like,
he is.
to this day, you know.
Thing too. Another thing you got to remember too is that a lot of people always talk about Undertaker being the leader. Andre was the original boss.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. So, but at the same time, the work that I've seen, like, it's really tough because, Andre, his career was cut short, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know what could have happened. It's kind of like, in retrospect, it's kind of like Big Pun, like, okay, this guy was one of the best rappers of all fucking time, and he died early, so he doesn't really quite get the same recognition as he probably should.
Yeah, you say same for Aaliyah too.
Yes, 100%. So this is really not a super fair comparison because they're not, I can only go get based on my predictions of what Andre's career could have gone, but I do feel like he would have been probably limited because of, his talking, because of his mobility. Did I see him getting smaller? Probably not. So with that saying, I think that Chris Jericho is a better pick because of his evolution as a pro wrestler and as an individual, I guess. But he doesn't win by much because Andre did so much for the wrestling world in such a short amount of time that it's crazy to think what this guy could have done more, and that's where I'm torn.
Yeah.
That's where I'm torn.
All right, last one, the ultimate debate I think everybody has. Last one.
Of course that
Rock
was
or
the last
Stone
one.
Cold?
Of course that was going to be the last one.
The People's Champ or the now, when you pick, obviously you're going to base off who your favorite is, star power-wise, because obviously Austin's bigger, but Rock was up there for star power-wise too. If you want to build a main event star, you can go with either guy. So now there's a wrong answer. I'm going to give you mine, though. I'm going to say this. Stone Cold, to me, this is my opinion, I think Stone Cold is the biggest star wrestling ever had. Made WWE more money than any wrestler in history. Ratings were at an all-time high when he was the face of WWE because Stone Cold was just the shit. And he may be, if you look at all the baby faces in wrestling with Hogan, Cena, Rock, Austin may be the only one when he turned heel, people weren't happy when he did a heel turn. You know what I mean? People weren't too looking back at it now. A lot of people say that he shouldn't have turned heel because really there's nothing to hate about Stone Cold's character. There's nothing to hate about his character. His character is so believable in so many ways. How can you hate a guy who kicks people's asses and drinks beer and talks tough? And what is there to hate about him? There's nothing to hate about this guy when he's on my television. But you can make the same argument for The Rock, though. I mean, obviously, heel Rock was great at the time he turned heel because he was a perfect opponent for Austin. But once Rock became so over and got babyface, what is there to hate about The Rock? There's nothing to hate about The Rock. So it's tough, though, man. But for me, I'm going with The Rock. I like The Rock more. The Rock is more entertaining to me, better on the mic to me. And if you look at, and think about this too, if you look at some of the biggest matches in wrestling history, if you look at some of the biggest matches in wrestling history, it's involved The Rock and not Austin. The Rock's the one who got the match with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. When The Rock came back to face John Cena, he was, that was the one match that sold and did all types of box office numbers at WrestleMania. Rock versus Austin was huge too, but those got to be played. And I think those something like that matters too because, I mean, Austin versus Hogan could have been huge, and I'm still upset we never got that. By the way, still irritates me that match never happened. But for what it was, if you look back at the match, would the match have been the same if it was Austin in the match? Would it have been that great? Nope. Would it have made more? You know what I'm saying? Because they're two different styles. I love Austin as far as popularity-wise. I think Austin is superior than everybody else, but entertainment-wise, charisma-wise, to me, I think Rock is a little bit better. So I'm gonna go with The Rock.
For me,
I think.
Go.
No, Sean, you go. You can go, Sean.
For me, I'm gonna take it back to the Mount Rushmore. Hogan, greatest face of all time. Flair, greatest heel or arguably entertainer of all time. I think HBK is the greatest period of all time, and I kind of gave, Chris Jericho number 4 is kind of like a lifetime achievement award. Then you have Rock and Austin, and I mean, Rock is 5 and Stone Cold is 5A. Stone Cold is 5, Rock is 5A, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to give the nod to The Rock, and I'm going to give the nod to The Rock because of what Malik just said. I don't know if this was his whole point, but he mentioned it. What Rock did coming back in 11, 12, 13 is what changed the narrative for me. It was always so close, and it was always going to be Austin by a hair. Rock then elevated himself past Austin in my mind because of his extremely late in his career work. When he came back for that final run in 11, 12, 13, that's what put it over for me. So, in the closest of all margins, in the closest, it couldn't be any closer, but to the 10th power, like how close it could be. But
there's no, I think for this one, there's no wrong answer.
Yeah, by an eyelash, I'm gonna choose The Rock.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you too.
Another reason I would also choose The Rock too is Kyron brought this up many times, but you never heard really any bad thing about The Rock as far as backstage politic wise. Like I've never heard any issue with Rock wanting to put somebody over, or it's never really heard. You never really heard anybody say, "Well, fuck The Rock, I don't like him." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you heard the same. I'm not saying you heard the same with Austin, but Austin did walk out on WWE at one point. You know what I mean? It was a bad business move. He even said that it was the worst decision he ever made in his career. But as far as hatred wise, I've never heard one person say they didn't like The Rock or that The Rock was unprofessional or any type of way.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with The Rock as well. Even if you ask me who's the biggest star, Austin. And if you saw, I put Austin in the Mount Rushmore. I think Austin is higher on the all-time list than The Rock, but I just prefer The Rock over Stone Cold.
Yep, it's one of those things where it's so tough to say, okay, it's not even about like which one's better. Sometimes it's just which one do you prefer, right? Which one do you prefer? What's the preferable choice for your company, for the brand that you're trying to create and stuff like that. And Malik, you brought a great point up, man, and I want to echo that because it makes total sense, and it goes with the whole theme of what I was talking about. Having guys like Undertaker over Shawn Michaels because of the politics, having guys like I forget who I picked now, but you get my point. It's picking the ones that I think will be better. Oh yeah, Orton over CM Punk, stuff like that. Now I know I picked Hogan over Flair, but still, ideally, what it really comes down to for me with The Rock is that although Austin's career again cut short, right? But he did so much that it ultimately didn't matter in a way. So I mean, to Sean's point, could Austin have been that kind of character to come back and capitalize on a later run? He's still in great shape now, man. He's, for a guy that had to walk away from wrestling, he looks like he's still go. I mean, just looking at him. So I don't know if I can go on The Rock based off of that argument per se, but as an overall package and the fact that everybody's always talked so highly of him, not to say that people didn't do it about Austin, but like you said, there was a little bit of turmoil at one point, and you never had that with The Rock. So I think he just slightly edges him there in that argument. And then obviously from my standpoint, I just found he was just a touch more entertaining, more funny, and just a little bit more charismatic and creative.
I think what also goes into it too, even though Sean said he liked 01 Alliance, and Austin did some funny stuff, but Rock is very good at bringing all types of emotion at people. There were times when you hated The Rock. There were times when you loved The Rock. Times when The Rock made you cry, made you laugh. There's all types of The Rock can do all types of things, man. He's so good all around. He's just really good at making shit out of what do they say? Chicken shit out of chicken salad. So I mean, it's just he's really good, man. And like I said, not by much. Both guys' careers were short-ended. Because Rock left for Hollywood by the time Austin retired. So
good point. And
obviously, he came back.
He had the choice to come back, and Austin doesn't really have that choice.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, he came. Could Austin have come back and put on Could Austin have come back and challenged Cena at WrestleMania and would have been box office short? It would have been huge.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Box office. But
Give me a hell yeah.
when you look at, I think it's just different with The Rock. I think it's just different with The Rock. I mean, like I said, would Austin's match have been as good with Hogan as Rock's was? You know what I mean? Fan interaction wise, fans were insane.
Right?
You know what I mean? But would it have been? I don't know. Maybe it would have. Maybe it wouldn't have. I don't know if it would have because their styles are very. I'm not saying similar, but they're both. You know, it's between like Austin, Cena, and Rock. They all have this certain moves. You know what I mean? They have a certain moveset. And you know what the moveset is, and they're just really good at working around that moveset. You know what I mean? Rock kind of the same way too, but Rock had very good charisma in the ring. I thought he was very good at doing little stuff too. So
yeah,
I'm gonna say The Rock by hair, just not by much, but appreciate you guys for being on. As always, much love. Appreciate you guys for sticking in the chat too, man. You guys were coming with the comments.
There's a couple MVPs, man, in this chat. Like I've seen their names there for a long time.
Yeah, you guys sticking around.
Wow.
Next podcast we'll do one. I'm glad you asked, so I'm gonna get to it. You said next stream. We'll do one next week. Next week, I'm going to prepare you guys right now. So I'm going to send you guys. Next week, we're going to do a top 5. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write down some top 5 questions for you guys, and then I'm going to send them to you guys. That way you can make your list ahead of time. So that way you can debate about it and think about it ahead of time. So next week, I don't know what day next week. It'll be sometime next week, maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, around those areas.
I'm off Tuesday and Wednesday.
So we'll aim for next Tuesday. You guys go next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Next Tuesday? All right, next Tuesday. Next Tuesday will be the stream, and we'll be doing top 5. So we'll talk about all of our top 5s for this list. I'm going to do multiple lists. Not too many. We're going to make it too long, but I'll send it to you guys when I make the list, and then you guys have time to write down your top 5 list, and that way you guys can think about it and process it ahead of time. But go ahead and plug in your stuff, guys. While you're here, go follow their stuff. We'll start with Mountie. You go first, and then we'll move down the list.
Yeah, good to meet some of you guys tonight. I've been, on Malik's channel for quite some time, but it seems like we have a couple of hardcore fans in the chat, and we appreciate you being here. It helps to keep the video alive. Let's be honest. A lot of these questions were amazing, and we're not the type of people to just be like yes or no. We like to give elaborate answers because we care that much about the business and the industry and everything, and we're all trying to make it in one way, shape, or form ourselves. So we appreciate the support. Please come check out my YouTube channel, Mountie's Corner, MOUNTIE 'SCORNER, and you can find me on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and everything else. Please come follow me. I promise you won't be disappointed. And the more you watch, the more you're going to like me. So Malik, thanks a lot for having me, man. As always, it's a real honor, dude, to be a part of the core, to be here every week. I know you're a hot commodity, and people are asking to be a part of things and stuff. So I really appreciate being a part of this every week in and week out. I see really good things for not only your channel, but all of us in general. So pleasure seeing you, Sean, and as always, Kyron. And shout out to Rambo and Conrad. We hope that we can all be together very soon. I'm really looking forward to that also. So we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Rip 'em.
Another thing I want to plug in before you go, Sean, just so you know, the top 5. This won't just be wrestling related. It's going to be more than wrestling related. I'm going to mix it up. So I'm going to ask top 5 movies, anything. It's going to be top 5 anything. So it's not just wrestling related for people out there watching. The top 5 podcast next week coming. That's what I'm going to call it. Top 5 podcast. It will have wrestling stuff in it, but not everything will be wrestling related. So just a little plug in right there. So go ahead, Sean.
All right, yo, it's your man Sean, HubbardWrestlingWeekly.com, Hubbard Wrestling on YouTube, Hub Wrestling _MVP on TikTok. The TikTok is really blowing up. Shout out to Malik for hooking that up for me, trying to put me onto that. I appreciate that. Shout out to Mountie too. I see your TikTok blowing up, big dog. You know what it is, man. God first. Jesus Christ is my savior. Without him, nothing is possible. With him, all things are possible. Sexiest big man in the game. Why? Because your girl keeps texting me, and she's probably laying right next to you, and she's still texting me. So check your woman, because she thinks I'm the sexiest big man in the game. That being said, I'm still taken, so I can't do anything about it. Very happily taken, might I add. But all levity and jokes aside.
I'm just saying.
Huh? What?
My woman just came in the room and she offered me ice cream. I'm just saying.
There you go. There you go. All jokes and levity aside, shout out to my girl. Shout out to my people at work. Shout out to my family. Shout out to Conrad and Rambo listening in. Malik, always a pleasure. I'm humbled by the invites, to be honest with you, big dog. I'm humbled by the invites because you're popping right now, my G. And you including me in this has made me start to pop. So I salute and thank you for that. I see you, Kyron. I see you, Monty. I see y'all doing your thing. And let's continue getting this momentum going. Shout out to Fight TV, man. Giving me a little bit of an opportunity lately. I appreciate y'all. Joel and the team over there at Fight TV, Mr. Weber, and all you people out there. Appreciate y'all. I'm staying humble, man. Whether I make it or whether I don't, I really feel like I'm going to make it regardless, whether it's making it or making it in here. I don't care which one it is. If I make it to big time, great. But if I don't make it to big time, I still made it because I'm living my dream. So with that,
real talk, man. We do what we love. I love that. I like that.
Yeah, well, follow my Instagram, _Kyron, my Twitter, /Kyron, my TikTok and YouTube account, Kyron Chase. It's always a pleasure being here with you guys, especially, with our schedule not working the way it used to. It's hard for us to get together. Shout out to Mark, shout out to Conrad. We definitely hope you two will be back on here with us soon. Once again, Malik, thanks for the invite. I'm glad, and I can't wait for next week.
Alrighty. See you guys next